Hello students, good morning, good evening everyone. So for this new session we have come again, All India Mock Test, General Studies, Paper 1. So I am your faculty Dr. Praveen Kumar. So as we have already discussed the previous test, so I have come again back from the discussion for this All India Mock Test session. So I'll be taking as a geography. My name is Dr. Praveen Kumar, and I'll be taking your section, geography section, and your geography section starts from the question number 31. Yes, question number 31. So yes, and also one more thing I want to mention it for here for you, that after each question I will see your comment. If you have any query and the doubt, you can write in the comment and you can ask me, right? Because it is our live session, so we can have interaction through this typing, chatting, right? So let us start the discussion. So question 31, it is from geography section. So I'll start with the question number 31. So question 31, with the reference to the coastal red sand dunes, consider the following statement. They are rare deposits found on Chandipur beach. Chandipur beach is in Odisha. So this red sand dunes are the deposits of soil, deposits of red soil. Usually this red is rich in ferrous, and this have been deposited by the rivers coming from Telangana plateau, and we all know Telangana plateau has the deposits of red soil, and with the process of attrition the size of this soil has been reduced to the form of clay. So this is the deposited in the form of dunes in the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, not in the Odisha. So this is found in the coastal areas of or near the Vishakhapatnam. So this is also locally called the Eramatti. Red soil is also called the Eramatti, right? And this has been there in the news in the last 2022, and also there in the since 2014 and the 16. This is there time and again, it is there in the news. So second statement, this says the site where they are found has been declared as a geo-heritage site by the Geological Survey of India. Yes, this statement is correct. This was declared as a geo-heritage site by the Geological Survey of India in the 2014. Must remember this year. And Andhra Pradesh government has also listed it. It has also listed it or been included in the protected area. This is also included in the protected site in the year 2016. So these 2 years are very significant in relation to this red sand dunes. The third statement says they are, so this is also correct. They are both geologically, anthropologically important because they have been a part of continuous evolution of Earth. So this is correct because it talks about the period of glaciation and the deglaciation, means there is a fall of sea level. Sea level means this is a glaciation and a rise in sea level. So this is the part of deglaciation. So there has been a different process of deposition in this on this topography, So it gives you some evidences of the geological change, right? So anthropogenic factors is also there, because of the human activities have been involved there and been responsible for the formation of this type of the soil that we see this mining activities by the, that is anthropological activities or anthropogenic activities. Then after, they are found in India only. So this is statement 3 statement is correct. Well, statement number 4, they are found in India only. This statement is absolutely wrong. Reason for this is, this also has been found in Sri Lanka. This also has been found in the Sri Lanka. So that what is the question there? The question here is how many of the above statements are correct? So correct statement we have only 2. Answer is B. So first 31 question is, it is only 2 statements are correct. So the option is, option B is correct. So question number 32. Question number 32 deals with, question number 32 is Mauna Loa volcano. So you must know where is Mauna Loa. So this is on the Hawaii island. In Pacific Ocean. This is the most active, one of most active volcano of the world. So this is the Mauna Loa recently erupted in the Hawaii, which this regard on this consider the following statement. Mauna Loa is the world's largest active volcano. So this is the largest active volcano, because this is absolutely correct, because it is continuously, this is continuously erupting or very frequent eruption from the Mount Mauna Loa in the on the Hawaiian island. The large size of Mauna Loa is due to silica rich nature, underline this, which makes the lava highly fluid, spreading across the larger region. So what we find there, what type of the lava is erupting on the Mauna Loa is the basaltic, number 1. So if you see the composition of the basaltic, so it has it has low silica content. It is about 50% silica is there, right? And then after, so temperature of the basalt is high. So this is more liquid, or the fluid is more, fluidity is high. So when the fluidity is high, so it spreads over the larger area. So this is responsible for the, or it is responsible for lava flood. So when the lava flood occurs, it will spread over the larger area and then be responsible for the plateau type structure. So let us see this question. Which of the above is which of the above given statement is or are incorrect? So you have to give or mark this correct or incorrect statements, right? Then after, so incorrect statement, this statement is wrong, because this is silica rich in nature, it is wrong. So silica is only 50%. So that this statement is wrong. So incorrect statement only 2. Answer is B. So 32 answer is B. So let us move to the question number 33. Yes, question number 33 is, so this statement is there. Yes. So which of the following conditions must be necessary for necessarily be satisfied for cyclones to exhibit Fujiwara effect? So Fujiwara effect, you must be knowing, this was there in the news. So that is a very important atmospheric condition in the cyclone formation. So let us read this statement. Cyclone must be proximity of each other. Cyclone must be tropical. Cyclone must be same size. So what is the Fujiwara effect? Fujiwara effect is when two unequal size of vertex formed there on the surface or on the coastal area. So if you see there, this is one is a large vertex and near proximity there is a small vertex. So this is called unequal size of the low pressure depression is formed. If I make it in a more of clear manner, so this is a large vertex and nearby this is a small vertex is formed. So two unequal size of vertexes are formed, and a large vertex definitely has a more of depressed part, more of the more of pressure gradient force. So this large vertex is always there in the effect of attraction of the minor or the small vertex. So this has been given on the basis of binary interaction. So binary interaction means vertex 1 and vertex 2 have been formed, and these two vertices on the sea surface have been developing nearby each other. So there is a difference of about 2000 kilometer between these two vertices. So these two vertices are away from each other, but because of vertex 1 which is larger in the size, it has a gravitational effect or it has a pulling effect more. So there this two vertex with the over a period of time merges with vertex 1 and it takes a larger shape or the larger size of the cyclone. So this usually happens in the tropical region, it usually happens in the temperate zone or the extra tropical cyclone or temperate cyclone, right. So they are the cyclone must be the close proximity of each other, this is correct. Cyclone must be in the tropical areas, it is not necessarily the tropical areas because it can develop in the temperate zone also or in the condition of temperate cyclone also, right. Then after there this cyclone also cyclone must be of same size, not required, right. So let's see what is the question there. So here question is select the correct answer using the code given below. So ours was only one statement is correct, rest two statements are wrong. So answer is A, 33 answer is A, right. Question number 34. Question number 34 says assertion Goldilocks zones are the important or implications in the search for habitable planets. Important for the search for the habitable planets. These zones provide the limit of habitable areas above the surface of the earth. So now first what is a Goldilocks zones? Goldilocks zones are the habitable zone. So this has a range of temperature. It is a habitable zone which has a range of temperature which is not very high, not very low. Means it is not excessively warm, it is not excessively cool. So the temperature more or less remain uniform throughout the year. So then also the mean temperature or the average temperature is moderate. So that condition is found there on the planet, or where such a condition is found, so that planet becomes habitable, right. So in this case we see this zones provides a limit of habitable areas above. Understand this statement. This zone provides the limits of habitable areas above the surface of the earth. That is true because in the polar areas where we find the temperature is excessively low, so that is not the adequately favorable condition for habitation for the human being or the living being. But there in the moderate condition, when we come in the tropical region and the temperature has been seasonally moderating, or the moderating effect have been prevailing. So in this condition, the surface of the earth or the land or the region over the earth becomes habitable. So this area, so this on the surface, this temperature change, if we take in the entire the solar system, so the earth has the favorable condition for living or for the habitation. So such of the condition have not been found on the other planets. So that situation or the condition is in the favor or favorable over the earth because of moderating temperature effect. So the earth has become habitable planet. So we will say this reasoning is absolutely supporting the assertion, or we can also say this reasoning is a correct explanation of assertion. So let us see the options. A, both A and R correct or true. R is a correct explanation of A, right? So this is option will be absolutely A. 34 answer is A. So let me find out if anybody has a doubt on this. Any comment has come? Yes, no comment is there. Okay, I'll continue then. Right. So there is no comment, so I'll continue it. Right? Sure, next. So I'm taking the next question, question number 35. So question number 35 says, which of the above were the part of observation made to the support of seafloor spreading theory? Support of seafloor spreading theory, right? And we know that seafloor spreading theory has been given by Harry Hess. In terms of finding the evidences, or in terms of finding the evidences for continental drift theory. So this theory explains it supports the drifting of continents. So that what the evidences it is there, or the observations? Increasing age of the rock as one moves away from the crest of oceanic ridge. So if you see this oceanic ridges, on the divergent margins of plate. So the oceanic ridges are formed at the margin of divergence. So there is upwelling of lava and been solidified at the margin of divergence. So these are called oceanic ridge. So that approves the drifting of the continent. So what it says, increasing the age of the rock as one moves away from the crest of mid-oceanic ridge. So here the age of the rock is younger. Here it is as we go away from the margin of ridge. So this is in the interval of 5 billion years. In the interval of 5 billion years, the age of rock increases. So we go away from the margin of ridge to the from the margin of oceanic ridge to the periphery or towards the continent. So age of the rock is increasing. So that state becomes correct. Magnetic properties of the rocks on either side of the ridge, that is absolutely correct. Reason for the magnetic properties in the rock has been attained when the rock comes above the Curie point or on the ground or on the surface by then after they cools or process of cooling and solidification. So they attain the magnetic properties according to the position of magnetic pole, that is called the geomagnetism. So rock attains its magnetic properties according to the position of the magnetic pole in the reference to the core north and the core declination or the arrangement of the core areas, right? So that attains magnetic properties. So that is called the geomagnetism. geomagnetism, right? So the rock has been cooling and solidified and attaining its magnetic properties in the margin of oceanic ridges, and accordingly they are shifting away from the margin of oceanic ridges. So this statement is also correct. Deep seated earthquakes. So third statement, deep seated earthquakes are mid oceanic ridges. So we do not see this deep seated earthquake find there in the oceanic ridges. That is wrong. So that we find deep seated earthquakes have been found on the convergent margin in the Benioff zone. When the subduction takes place and when the plate collide with the mantle layer, and the minor earthquake occurs, or this low intensity, low magnitude earthquake occurs, that is the deep seated earthquake are called along the Benioff zone. So this is wrong statement. Volcanic eruption being common all along the mid oceanic ridges. This is absolutely correct. Reason for, when magma upwells and cools and solidifies, there is a continuous upwelling of magma. So we find there the Iceland, that is on the margin of divergence in Atlantic Ocean. Active volcano. So there is a volcanic eruption. So this fourth statement is also correct. So select the correct answer using the code given below. So 1, 2 and 4 is correct. So answer becomes C, right? So next question is question number 36. Yes, with regard to rock, which of the following statement is incorrect? So you must be, I am repeating again, you must be aware about what is correct or incorrect. So this first is lithification play an important role in the formation of igneous rock. Again, the first statement itself is lithification as important role for the formation of igneous rocks. So igneous rock is formed by cooling and solidification of lava or magma. So lava will be responsible for formation of igneous rock on surface or the extrusive rock. Magma or the magma is solidified and the inside the earth is called the intrusive rock. Lithification is the process of layering of sediments in a depression or over any low-lying areas. Means you must have read this in the concept of geosyncline. So there is a stage when there is sedimentation. So this sedimentation in the form of layers. So that process is called lithification or lithogenesis. So lithogenesis or the lithification is the process when the sedimentation happens there on the crustal areas or in the areas of the crust of the earth, and where the sediments have been deposited. So this sediment is responsible for formation of sedimentation is responsible for the formation of sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rock, not the igneous rock. So this statement becomes correct. What is our answer? Incorrect. So the answer will be A only. So no need to go to any of the deeper part of the reading of the other statements. So we will save our time, right? So then after this is 36, option is A. Next question. Question number 37. Yes. So question number 37 is with respect to layers of earth, means we say it is soil profile or horizon. Soil horizon. Consider the following statement. So in the soil profile or in the horizon, O horizon. So if I draw this small horizon of the layers of earth. First layer is called O layer, then A layer, then E layer, then B layer, then C layer, and then D layer. So O layer is called organic rich layer. So O means organic layer, right? So this layer is rich in organic matter. So O horizon mainly composed of dry leaves, grasses, dead leaves, small rocks, twigs, surface organism, fallen trees and other decomposed matter. So this is the top layer, whatever the plant is there on the rock, so they will shed their leaves and this all will be mixed, decomposed and decayed in the O layer itself. So this so when this the different of the organisms, they will consume these plants. So this will have this sum of surface organisms. So this statement is correct. A horizon is a layer seed germination take place, gives rise to the new roots. So there is a in the A layer the roots of the trees expands. Roots of the trees expands in the A layer. So definitely there will be germination of the seeds and this decomposition of the leaves will happen. This is also clear. B layer is a nutrient rich from above it. O and A horizon found in this layer. So as we have seen, this is E layer. So E layer is the intermediate between the O and B layer. So means this is not exactly the O and E after this or above the B layer. So that statement becomes wrong, right? And also this statement is also wrong on the one ground, it is nutrient least from the above layer. So there is no nutrient in the B layer. Rather the B layer is or B layer has a hard pan. This is hard pan because of deposition of heavy mineral. So there will be presence of iron. So therefore it is called the hard pan. So nutrient will not be present there in the B layer. Fourth statement, C layer devoid of any organic material. Definitely because there on the C layer there is a deposits of large boulders and D layer is called the base rock. It is base rock over which all the deposition or the layer of the soil has been formed. So there is a large deposits of sediment. This is called regolith. So it will have C layer will have regolith, right? So C layer devoid of any organic material. So this is also correct because organic materials are not reaching up to that depth. So that is correct statement. Question is how many of the above pair are correct? How many above pair are correct? 1, 2, 4. So 3 pairs are correct. So answer is C. 34 answer, sorry, question number 37, answer is C. Next question. So next question is, consider the following statement regarding temperature inversion. Temperature inversion. So temperature inversion, we know that temperature inversion is it is a contrast of atmospheric situation than the normal lapse rate. So what is the normal lapse rate? Rising the altitude or height, decreasing the temperature. So this is normal lapse rate. So opposite of this, there is a rising the altitude, there is rising the temperature. This is called inversion of temperature, right? So inversion of temperature is taking place in the atmosphere because of the different atmospheric condition. right? So let's see the statement. It refers to rise in temperature with the altitude. So we have discussed here. So the height is increasing, temperature is increasing. So the first statement is correct. Second statement is cloudy sky causes temperature to rise with altitude, and this contribute in the temperature inversion. So this cloudy sky is not the favorable condition for the inversion of temperature. Reason for, in atmosphere when the terrestrial radiation take place, terrestrial radiation means it is the transfer of heat or radiation of the heat from the surface to atmosphere, and this should reach there in the upper atmosphere, but it has been trapped by clouds in the atmosphere. So when it has been trapped, so this clouds send this back to the surface. This is called counter radiation. I hope you must have heard this term, counter radiation, right? So counter radiation is responsible for warming the atmosphere, so that the cloudy sky is not the condition for terrestrial condition for the inversion of temperature. So we can also say this inversion of temperature is responsible for making the surface of the earth or the atmosphere cool. So this will make cool because all the heat has been radiated into the atmosphere. When the cloud has been trapping the heat and they are sending back to the surface, so this process is called the counter radiation. So counter radiation will make atmosphere again warm near the surface. So that will not be the ideal condition or the favorable condition for the inversion of temperature, right? So in such condition, the inversion of temperature, or in the cloudy condition, inversion of temperature will not happen. So this statement becomes wrong. Number 3, long winter nights and still air contribute to the atmosphere contribution to temperature inversion. So means there is a long winter nights, so there has a more time to radiate the heat from the surface to atmosphere. So the what heat has been absorbed during the day, that all will be radiated into the atmosphere. So the surface will become cool or adequately cool. So in such condition, that this atmosphere will become warm and the surface will become cool. So that is absolutely right condition or the favorable condition for inversion of temperature. Then after, temperature inversion helps improve the quality of air quality of the areas due to mixing. So here we see, in the inversion of temperature, there is a vertical rise of radiation or the heat, or we can also say emission of heat, emission of absorbed heat on the surface. So there is no air current, means see the statement, temperature inversion helps improve the air quality of the areas due to mixing. So air quality of the areas, only will be modified or will be improved only in the condition when there is a movement of wind horizontally. But here there is a rising of air, rising of the heat or emission of heat from surface to atmosphere. So there is no mixing of air. So this statement, quality of air, there is no mixing, so that statement is wrong, right? So in this case, what is the question? How many of the above statements is or are correct? 2 statements are correct only, so that option becomes B. Question number 39. Yes. Consider the statement regarding the Asia consider the statement regarding the South Asia flash flood guidance system. South Asia flash flood guidance system. So we know that in the recent time in India, the flash floods cases or the incidents have increased. particularly there in the Himalayan states, Himachal Pradesh and then Uttarakhand and the northeast areas. So the initiative is funded by United States Agency for International Development Bureau for Humanitarian Assistance. This is correct. So this has been funded by the United States agencies. This is correct. Then after, the Meteorological Department of India IMD is recognized as a regional center. This is correct. So आपको इसको समझ लीजिए, what is a flash flood? So flash flood is called the amount of rainfall that is about or the heavy rainfall that occurs over an area for more than or in the 6 hours, less than 6 hours, heavy rainfall over an area for about 64 millimeter to 135 millimeter rainfall, means 6.4 centimeter to the 135 millimeter rainfall when it occurs. This is called the flash flood. So that this is also the South Asia flash flood guidance, and also there they have designated or designed to provide. This guidance system has been designed to provide the essential land surface products to support the development warning or support of development of warning for flash flood, and it includes India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So where India has been, or the Indian Meteorological Department has been considered a regional center, right, by WMO, by World Meteorological Organization, right. So this statement is correct, first is correct, second is correct. So let us see what is the question. So which of the statements given above is or are incorrect? So no statement is incorrect, so answer is D. 39, answer is D. So let's move to the next question, 40. Question number 40, which of the with reference to Karvelas, consider the following statement. So we know that Karvelas are the deposits of soil in the Himalayan state, particularly there in the Kashmir Valley. This sediment has been deposited by the rivers and the glaciers. So these are the thick deposits of forest soil embedded with the moraines. This is correct. Moraines are the deposits of glaciers, right. So this is correct. The formation of Karvelas is useful for the cultivation of apple, walnut and orchards. This is also correct. So Karvelas is very much favorable for, or the suitable for the apple, walnut and orchards, and you can also add, this is also favorable for saffron or also called jaffran, right. In local language it is called the jaffran, and in the English language it is called saffron. Apart from being used of agriculture, Karvelas are now being excavated to be used in construction activities or in the construction. So this is in the recent development. This soil has also been used. Soil has also been used in the construction activities. In the recent development or the recent studies have found this soil is also favorable or good for the construction activities. It gives you some solid structure or provides a solid base to the buildings and the structure. So this is also correct. So how many of the statements are correct? All three are correct. Answer is C. A simple question is there based on purely on the NCERT. So then after, next question, question number 41. So question number 41 is Yes, which of the following statements regarding the deep sea mining is incorrect? Must remember, this is incorrect question, incorrect statement. The first statement, let's say, the natural hydrothermal geysers on the deep sea floor provide the rich concentration of metals and minerals in the ocean floor. This is correct because of this on the geyser side, this mixing of or the disintegration of rock there, the metals which is present or the minerals which are present there in the rock or igneous rock on the sea floor has been eroded away or mixed in the water. So that is on the ocean floor, on the ocean floor they have been found. So this is correct. Second statement is Calarian Clipperton fracture zone, believed to be the most mineral rich sea floor in the world, is situated in the Pacific Ocean. This is the Indian Ocean. This is not in the Indian Ocean, this is in the Pacific Ocean. It is in Pacific Ocean. So this statement becomes wrong. What is our answer? We have to find out the incorrect. So answer becomes B, right? So this answer is B, 41B. So we can read the statement, but if you are there in the exam, you can avoid of once you go or once you reach on the answer. India was the first country in the world to have sponsored an exploration of the deep sea mineral. This is correct. All minerals exploration and exploitation activities must be sponsored by United States, by the state party of UN clause and are approved by the international seabed. So this is correct. It gives the right to the country for exploitation and harnessing of resources over the seabed within the exclusive economic zones, right? Fisheries, then also there most of largely there and they if they have to get it under the UN clause, right? But our answer is B. Next question, 42. Consider the following statement with the seismic microzonation. Seismic microzonation means we are going at the very micro level studies of the seismic activities, right? So consider the following statement with respect to microzonation. It is the process of classifying a region into the zones of relatively similar exposed to the various earthquake related effect. So this is the zone for process of classifying the region into the zones of relatively similar exposure to the various earthquakes related effect. So means we are going to the micro level studies, micro level classification which has a earthquake effect or which experience or observe earthquakes. Then after, the first attempt of the seismic microzonation of any urban area was carried out in the Japan. This is absolutely correct because Japan is a country in the world which has been most affected by the earthquakes or the all type of disasters, cyclone, earthquakes are there. So statement 3 is seismic hazard microzonation studies have emerged as a major tool towards our effort for preparedness and mitigation of losses due to earthquakes. So this is true because when we go for the microzonation, we can assess all type of disasters and all type of damages which may occur in future or have occurred in the presently. So accordingly, we go for the preparedness plan and the mitigation plan in the coming disaster or the coming earthquake. So how many of the statements are above correct? So we find all three correct. The answer is C. Next question. Yes, question is 43. Consider the following pairs. Gemini Island, Ukraine. This is correct. So if we see this map of the Black Sea, this is Crimea Peninsula. It is Black Sea. So Gemini Island is very close to Ukraine. Hans Island, this is correct. It is in the Greenland. It is very close to the Greenland area, but in the territory of the Holland, Netherlands. Campeche Island, it is there in the Brazil. Yes, this is correct. So we find there, this is on the coast of Brazil. So we find here Campeche Island, very small area, about 1250 meter away from Florianopolis province. Florianopolis province. So this is here Floriano province of the Brazil. So this is 1250 kilometer away, sorry, 1250 meter away from the coast of Brazil. So this is correct, this is correct, this is correct. All three are correct. How many pairs are correct? So this is correctly matched, right? All three are correctly matched. So next question, question number 44. Yes. So question number 44 is yes, it deals consider the following to develop underwater vehicle, underwater robotic, okay, to provide ocean climate change advisory services, okay, to develop offshore based desalination technique, right, to develop renewable energy generation technique, okay. How many of the above are objectives of deep ocean mission? How many are objective of deep ocean mission? So what are objective? The first was in order to address their the objective in order to address this the demand of the resources coming from the ocean areas or the ocean bed. Means we are going to explore and harness the renewable resources, renewable energy and metallic resources from oceans, so that we have blue energy mission, blue economy, sorry, we have blue economy vision. So blue economy vision, it is all based on the resources which will be extracting or harnessing from the ocean basis or the oceans. So in this case, we have to go for we have planned our deep ocean mission. So in the deep ocean mission, underwater vehicle and the robotic is there in order to find out the new technology, new technological development, so that we can go for tracing or finding out the resources which are reserved there on the surface of the oceans. Number two, the ocean climate advisory service. Yes. So when we have the technology, we can see these changes in the oceans are happening because of climate change. So that is also our objective, and that is also our aim. Then they develop the offshore based desalination technique. So this technique or this objective has been purposely included in this mission, that in future the countries of the world, they will be facing the problem of the availability of the water. So that is the India is trying to find out the way out to that problem, that we could desalinize the ocean water for our use, at least in the coastal cities. Then after, to develop the renewable energy generation technique, means we will have the energy resources like tidal and wind also there in the coastal areas. So for that, we are focusing on these sources or the resources, right. So therefore, the deep ocean mission has been launched. So the objectives are all four are correct. So we will go for the answer is D. So this all four options are correct. So answer 42 comes the D. So this is the session for the geography. So from 31 to 44 sessions, 44 questions are belonging to geography. So I hope, let me check out if anybody has comment and doubt on that. Right. So no one has given any comment. Chali. So next session. Right. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Saurabh Mishra. I will be taking the economy questions from the today's test. So the economic question starts from 72. So just okay. So in today's session or in the today's test, we have seen that the questions of economy has a blend between the static concepts and the current dynamics. So some factual questions are also there. So we'll have to look at and prepare these kind of questions as well, because UPSC may throw you some questions which are factual in nature, and based on your knowledge you will have to eliminate those wrong options there, right? So let us start our discussion from the 72nd question. Here, consider the following statement regarding inflation. So it is talking about the inflation. What is the first statement here? In NSO's consumer price index, the petrol and diesel are counted under fuel and light, and hence they are reflected in core inflation and not under the headline inflation. Now here the wrong statement is, it is wrong because the petrol and diesel does not come under fuel and light, but it comes under transport and communication, right? So first statement is wrong here. Second statement, housing prices are counted in the urban areas CPI calculation but not in rural areas. This statement is right. The housing prices are counted under the urban areas CPI, right? Third statement, at present, the RBI Act requires the central bank to control core inflation and keep it between 2% to 6% CPI all India combined. Now here, yes, the inflation target is correct, 2 to 6%, 4 plus minus 2%, right? But it applies on the headline inflation, not on the core inflation. Also, we want to apply that in the core inflation. For that, we have you can say we have refined headline inflation. So there we are looking at removal of petrol and you can say diesel prices. So this third statement is also wrong because we are targeting this bracket 2% to 6% not on core inflation but on headline inflation, right? So statement 1 is wrong, statement 3 is wrong. So what is the question here? How many of the given statements are correct? Only second statement is correct. So answer will be B, only 2. A, only 1, because only one statement is correct here, right? Next question, 73rd. With reference to card tokenization, consider the following statements. Card tokenization means what? You create a token to protect the personal information about the card holders, right? So you create a token which is encrypted and later on decrypted. fine. So the merchant may not have the access to the personal details. Look at the statements. Card tokenization implies that a card on file system has authorized a merchant to store the cardholder's MasterCard or Visa payment detail. This happens to card on file system but not on card tokenization. So first statement is wrong here. Second, tokenization can be performed only by the authorized card network. That is true. It has to be authorized card network. The token requester cannot store primary account number or any other card details. That is the purpose of card tokenization, right? So third statement is also right. Fourth, card network are also mandated to get the token requester certified. So statement 2, 3 and 4 are correct, but statement 1 is wrong. The card on file system has authorized a merchant to store cardholders MasterCard and Visa payment details, but card tokenization does not mean that, right? So statement 1 is wrong there. Question is, how many of the above statements are correct? So answer will be C, only 3, because first statement is wrong. Now 74th. Consider the following statement regarding neobanks. Now look at the statements. Number 1, neobanks are digital banks without any physical branches. This is correct. Look at the statement 2. In India, they need a bank license of their own to operate and offer licensed service. This is wrong, right? They do not require bank license. They are totally digital banks, right? So they do not require bank license. So statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 3, they are basically the online subsidiary of an established and regulated player in the banking sector. So statement 3 is also incorrect, because neobanks entered the financial system with the tag of challenger banks because they challenged the complex infrastructure and client onboarding process of the traditional bank. So they are not the subsidiary, they are a challenger bank, but in the online space, right? So statement 3 is also wrong. Statement 4, RBI doesn't allow banks to be 100% digital yet. Yes, that is a correct statement, because RBI has not allowed 100% digital conversion of the banks, right? Still the offline is done and online is for the assistance. So statement 4 is correct, statement 1 is correct. What they are asking, how many of the above statements are correct? So only 2. So answer will be B here. Answer will be B, only 2. 75th question. In the context of fintech regulations in India, which of the following statement are correct regarding RBI's sandbox scheme? Now, what is this sandbox? If you are aware about the sandbox, it is a system. Regulatory sandbox refers to live testing of new products or services in a controlled regulatory environment. So when any bank or they want to you can say test a new product or the service, they need not go to the live environment or complex live environment. Sandbox system provides them a controlled regulatory environment to test their new products and services, right? Now look at the statements here. First statement is, it includes cohorts like retail payments, cross-border payment, MSME lending, prevention of financial frauds, cryptocurrency, credit registry and credit information. Now among these, the cryptocurrency, credit registry and credit information has been kept out of the sandbox scheme. Rest all, which includes retail payment, cross-border payment, MSME lending, prevention of financial fraud, etc. are kept with the sandbox scheme. So statement 1 becomes wrong here, because cryptocurrency, credit registry and credit information is excluded. What is the second statement? Sandbox can test the product's viability without the need for a larger and more expensive rollout. So that is the purpose of it, that you avoid the complex rollout first and test the product and services in the sandbox system, right? So statement 2 becomes correct here. Third statement is saying that under the scheme, RBI or its regulatory sandbox can provide any legal waiver. Now, legal waiver is not provided at this level. So this statement becomes wrong because it is just a testing platform, right? So statement 3 becomes wrong here. Now, what is the question? Select the correct answer using the code below. So only second statement is right. So answer will be C, only 2. Now look at the 76th question. Consider the following statement regarding India's foreign exchange reserve, forex reserve. Now, what are the statements given? The biggest contributor to forex is for foreign currency assets. Number 1. Yes, this statement is correct because the biggest contributor is the foreign currency assets, followed by gold, followed by SDR, and the reserve with the IMF. Okay? So these are the sequence. So maximum biggest contributor is the foreign currency assets. So first statement is correct. Second, the special drawing right is not a currency but a claim on IMF. Now this statement is wrong. Why? Yes, SDR is neither a currency nor a claim over IMF. Rather, it is a potential claim on the freely available currencies of IMF members. So SDR can be exchanged for these currencies which are available. Okay. So it is not a claim on IMF. So it is neither a currency not a claim. So second statement is wrong here, incorrect here. Statement 3. If the value of the rupee decreases due to an increase in demand of foreign currency, RBI borrows dollar so that the depreciation of Indian rupee can be checked. Now this statement is also wrong. If the value of rupee decreases due to an increased demand of foreign currency, then RBI sells the dollar to Indian money market so that the depreciation of Indian currency can be checked. So they do not borrow, they sell the dollar to the domestic market. Fine. So statement 3 is wrong here. What they are asking, how many of the given statement are correct? So only one statement is correct. So answer will be A here for 76. Only one is correct. Which one is the correct? The first statement. Fine. 77. Consider the following statement regarding cryptocurrency. Now, what is the first statement for cryptocurrency? The trading of cryptocurrency is completely illegal in India. So the first statement is wrong here. While crypto trading is not illegal at present, but the Indian government does not want to encourage it. They tax on it. Okay? So it is regulated, not completely illegal. Government, the policy, they do not want to promote cryptocurrency trade in India. Okay? So first statement is an extreme statement which is talking about cryptocurrency is trading in cryptocurrency is completely illegal in India, which is wrong. What are the next statements? Gifts in the form of virtual currencies are also liable to be taxed, with the donor bearing the liability for any such deductions. Partially correct statement. Why? Yes, gifts in the form of virtual currency are liable to be taxed, but the onus of the tax does not go on the donor but the receiver. So second statement, the liability or bearing the liability is on the recipient, not on the donor. So second statement is incorrect. Statement 1 wrong. Statement 2 is also wrong. Statement 3. Losses on these crypto assets cannot be offset to a later date. Yes, this is right. Why? Because the finance ministry in these regulations have proposed a 30% tax on the exchange of all virtual assets, including cryptocurrency and non-fungible tokens. It has also highlighted that losses on these cryptocurrencies or crypto assets cannot be offset to a later date. This means that any loss encountered during the trading of these assets will not be set off with other income sources, and that it will be carried to a subsequent year. You cannot offset that with other income source or other you can say sources, right? So statement 3 becomes right here. Losses on these crypto assets cannot be offset to a later date. So what they are asking, how many of the above statements are correct? So only one is correct here. So option A will be the correct option. Fine. Look at 78th question. Consider the following statement regarding windfall tax. So before we go into the statements here, what do you mean by windfall tax? Now, windfall tax is an extra levy imposed by a government on a company. So if a situation arises where the company is gaining some profit, unintended profit because of the circumstances for which they have not worked, it is just like a windfall. So if they are gaining profit there, so they will have to pay additional levy or you can say tax on that. Fine. So that is called windfall tax. Now look at the statement here. So statement 1 says the tax is reviewed every fortnight by the government and is changed on the basis of international oil prices. Statement is correct. It is reviewed every fortnight by the government and is changed on the basis of international oil prices. It fluctuates or depends on that. Second statement, it is saying that taxing the windfall profits was first suggested by NC Saxena Committee in 2022. Now this statement is wrong because it was not proposed by NC Saxena Committee, but it was proposed by BK Chaturvedi Committee. So second statement becomes wrong here. So the correct answer will be C, which is statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Fine. So answer will be C here. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Which committee has recommended? BK Chaturvedi Committee. Fine. Now look at the question 79. Consider the following statement regarding domestic systematically important insurers, DSIIS. Now these are too big to fail insurance companies. Now look at the statements here. In India, the status of domestically systematically important insurer is given by RBI. Now here the statement is wrong here because it is given by Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI. So IRDAI is providing the status of domestic systematically important insurance, not RBI. Statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2, LIC, General Insurance Corporation, New India Assurance have been identified as domestic systematically important insurers in India. Yes, the second statement is correct. They are considered too big to fail. So they are systematically important insurers and the status is given to them by IRDAI. Statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2 is correct. Which of the above given statement are correct? Option B, only 2. 2 only, right? So here answer will be B, 2 only. Next question, 80. Consider the following statement regarding Aadhaar enabled payment system. Now Aadhaar enabled payment system can offer so many services like cash deposit, cash withdrawal, balance inquiry, mini statement, Aadhaar to Aadhaar fund transfer, authentication, Bhim Aadhaar Pay, etc. So these services can be provided by Aadhaar enabled payment system. Now look at the statements here. First, the only input required for a customer to do a transaction under Aadhaar enabled payment system are Aadhaar number and biometric information which was given during enrollment, right? Correct statement. Only two information is required. One is the Aadhaar number and second is the biometric information. By giving that, any of the services can be availed. So statement 1 is correct. Statement 2, Aadhaar to Aadhaar fund transfer is also possible using Aadhaar enabled payment system. As I told you, what all can be done from here: cash deposit, cash withdrawal, balance inquiry, mini statement, Aadhaar to Aadhaar fund transfer, authentication, Bhim Aadhaar pay, etc. So here, yes, Aadhaar to Aadhaar fund transfer is possible. So both the statement given here is correct. So answer will be C, both A and B, or both 1 and 2. Fine. Now next question. With reference to account aggregator, consider the following statement. Now, an account aggregator is a non-banking financial company engaged in the business of providing services of retrieving or collecting financial information pertaining to its customers. So this is account aggregator. It is providing services for, or you can say, financial company which is engaged in the business of providing service of retrieving and collecting financial information pertaining to its customers. So statement 1, if you look at, is correct. An account aggregator is a non-banking financial company engaged in the business of providing the service of retrieving or collecting financial information pertaining to its customer. Correct statement. Second statement, the structure of account aggregator is based on the data empowerment and protection architecture, DEPA framework. So the structure of account aggregator is based on DEPA framework. Yes, correct statement. Third statement, DEPA is an organization that allows users to securely access their data and share it with third-party users. So DEPA framework was created in that way so that the users can, you can say, securely access their data and also share it with the third-party users as well. So all the statement regarding account aggregator is given, which is given, is correct. So what they are asking, how many of the above statement are correct? So all 3 are correct. Answer will be C, all 3. Second question. Look at the statements. As the bond price increases, the bond yield falls. Now for this, this is a conceptual question again about the bond, how bond market works. What is bond yield? What is bond price? So on the face of it, if you do not understand the mechanism here, you will think that if bond price increases, bond yield falls. May be wrong, but this is right. Why? How it is happening? Bond yield means what? What you are getting when from the token amount, right? Bond price is something on which the bond is selling in the market. So if the bond price increases, the profit will reduce. For example, if someone has taken a bond of 100 rupees and with a token amount, coupon amount of 110, right? So 10 rupee will be the bond yield there. Now if, or it is for 1 year of time. Now if they want to sell it in the market and if the bond price is increasing, so they will sell it on 105. So now the yield will become 5 rupees. So if the bond price increases, yield will reduce, and if they are selling at 95, bond price is reducing but the yield is increasing, now they will get 15. So the relationship is inverse. If the bond price is increasing, the bond yield falls. So statement 1 is correct. Look at the statement 2. A decline in the yield is bad for the equity market because money starts flowing out of equity investment to the debt investment. Now this statement is wrong. Why? Because if the decline in the yield is happening, that means the bond price is increasing. So if bond price is increasing, more money is coming from the debt market or debt investment to the equity investment. So the reverse is true, not the statement which is given. A decline in the yield is bad for equity market because money starts flowing out of equity investment to debt investment. The reverse happens, that money will flow from the debt investment to the equity investment. So here only statement 1 is correct. So what they are asking, which of the statement given are correct? Only 1. So answer will be A, 1 only. Fine. 83rd question. It is talking about the Philip curve. Now Philip curve suggests that there is a trade-off between inflation and unemployment. In which of the following cases this trade-off can fail to imply? Now here in Philip curve, it is talking about a situation where if inflation and unemployment inversely related, right? So what can be, basically we are asking in which situation this Philip curve will not hold true. So this will happen in case of a stagflation. What is stagflation? That inflation is also high and unemployment rate is also high. So this situation happens and it is called stagflation. It can also be seen during technological advances. It can also be seen in changes in the structure of the labor market, right? So in all these three aspects, the relationship which the Philip curve is providing, the inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment, does not hold true. So what they are asking here, select the correct answers using the code below. So here 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, in this case the Philip curve will not hold true. So answer will be C here, 1, 2 and 3. Fine. Eighty-fourth. Which of the following statement regarding the RBI's enforcement is incorrect? So out of these 4 statements, we will have to look at which statement is wrong, right? RBI can take both monetary and non-monetary penal actions against the violation of laws by the banks. Definitely true. RBI can take both kind of actions, penal and monetary and non-monetary penal actions. Look at the statement B. Unlike scheduled commercial banks, RBI does not impose monetary penalties on cooperative banks. Now this statement is wrong. RBI can impose monetary penalties on cooperative banks as well. So statement B here is wrong. What they are asking incorrect statement. So incorrect statement regarding what? RBI's enforcement power. So statement B is wrong here. What other statements are given? Enforcement actionable violations are determined on the basis of the fact as well as materiality of the violation. Yes, definitely generic statement. Seriousness of the violation is determined on the basis of the amount involved in the violation in an absolute number or as a proportion of the business size. These aspects are also true. So only statement B, which is unlike scheduled commercial banks, RBI does not impose monetary penalties on cooperative bank. This is wrong statement. So answer here will be B. Now look at the 85th question. Consider the following statement. Now here CPI captures price change at the consumer level, WPI captures the production side. Now here CPI captures the change in the price of services which the WPI cannot. So statement 1 becomes wrong here. Statement 2, CPI does not capture changes in the prices of service, WPI does. So as I told you that CPI does capture the changes in the prices of services, WPI cannot do that. So statement 2 is incorrect here. First statement, CPI, yes, CPI is on the consumer side and WPI is on the production side. So statement 1 becomes correct here, statement 2 becomes wrong. Statement 3, WPI gives more weight to manufactured goods, CPI gives more weight to food items. So this statement is also correct. WPI measures the initial or first stage of transaction. CPI is at the final or the last stage of transaction. That is also correct. Fifth statement, Center Statistics Office publishes both WPI and CPI data every month. This statement is wrong. CSO produces CPI data, and economic advisor in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry produces WPI data. So CSO or Central Statistics Office does not publish both the data, right? So it is a wrong statement. Fifth statement is wrong and second statement is wrong. So what they are asking, how many of the above statements are correct? So answer will be only 2, which is option. They are asking which all are correct, not incorrect. So second is incorrect, fifth is incorrect. So 3 option is correct. Answer will be B, only 3, right? So these are the questions which are related to the economy section. The next we will be discussing the questions related to history. Ashutosh sir will discuss those questions with you. Thank you so much.
Hello aspirants, welcome to the history session. In today's question, you must have find a fine balance between static and more linking towards art and culture and some socio-economic history of India. Though modern history, only 2 questions were from the modern history, but more or less the questions were designed in a way so that you can get the overall comprehensive touch with your preparation. Fine. And in this session, I'm going to going to discuss the answers, question and answers and their discussion. But further, I will take the opportunity to discuss the background of the questions wherever necessary. And along with that, I will also touch the peripheral areas of the topic. Every topic has some peripheral areas from which questions can be asked. So it will be more beneficial for you in this regard. So let's start the discussion here for history. I think for history, we have from the question number 17, 17. Yeah, there we go. And the first question is from the ancient India. I will read the statement first. The question is about the Gupta administration. गुप्ता की प्रशासन प्रणाली के ऊपर एक ये क्वेश्चन है. The statements are Bhuktis were split into Vaisyas and given to the Vishayapati. Either you can call it Vishayas or Vaishyas. You will be fine. So first statement says that Bhuktis were split. It means divided into Vishayas and given to the Vishyapati. The Adhikarana, the Council of Representatives, was composed of 4 representatives. Now, before going into the aspects of either one is correct or the 2 is incorrect, because we have to find the correct option, let's very briefly I will tell you about the Gupta's administration. Guptas are famously called the one of the largest empire in India. Their sway was over 60% of the land, and moreover, they have an efficient administrative system. The information regarding the efficient administrative system and its structure was given in a book called Niti Shastra. And the writer was Kamandak. Kamandak, in his book Niti Shastra, has described in detail about the administrative divisions of the Gupta Empire. Is that clear? The names of the Gupta Empire or the kingdom were varying from Rashtra to Raj, and the king was the head. Though it was not so centralized as in the previously Mauryan period, it was a more or less decentralized. There is a debate on that. We'll not go into the detail, but in the areas where the Gupta kings were having direct control, they were under the centralized empire. They were controlling from the central. So this was the administrative structure of theirs. And further, the kingdom was divided into provinces, a provincial division of the kingdom. Likewise, we see the states. So that's why there was provinces, and it was named as Bhukti. They were named as Bhukti. Fine. They were under the Uparika, the governors. Next, after this provinces, there was a division into districts. जिले के ऊपर इनका एक डिवीजन कर दिया गया था, जिले बनाए गए थे, और ये जिलों का नाम था विषयास, and under the Vishayapati. Is that clear? So that makes statement 1 as correct here. Now, with regard to the second statement, the Adhikarana, the Council of Representative, was composed of 4 representatives. It's true. Adhikarana was mentioned in the northern inscription of Bengal, in the inscription for the North Bengal of the Guptas, where this term Adhikarana was used, and it was used in the sense to denote the city administration. So that's why we have got the Council of Representatives, and the Adhikarana was the city administrator, and he was having the Council of Representatives of 4. They were 4 representatives, and their work was to manage the civil affairs. Is that clear? Some names over that, like Param Kayastha, Param Kulinta, like artisans, craftsmen, and the Kayast means the nowadays we can see the surname Kayast, and those were the days when this caste was very prominent, and that's why they were having an organization. The head of their organization was called Param Kayastha. Okay. Further, we can find in the so these two, both 1 and 2 are correct. As I have said, that we are also going to test the peripheral areas. What I mean by peripheral areas, that during the Gupta period, we also got some very interesting names, and those names are Nirvartana, Kulyapaka, and Dronavapa. Dronavapa, it was a term used for land measurement. It was not an instrument, but it was a term used for the measurement of land. And the next term we are going to see is the Kulayapa. It was also the term for land measurement. Fine. One very interesting information from the Gupta Empire, which can be asked in the examination, is that Fahian, who visited the court of Chandragupta, talks about that there is no capital punishment in the Gupta Empire. All over Gupta Empire, there is no capital punishment. That's a very interesting point from the historical point of view. So that's we'll wrap this question here. Answer is both 1 and 2 correct. Question number 18. Now, question number 18 says about the ideological strands of religious movement in India. India is a land of various religions. जन्मदाता है ये, बहुत सारे यहाँ धर्म यहाँ पे जन्म हुआ है, उनका फैला हुआ है. उसमें से बुद्धिज्म और जैनिज्म were among the chief. They are the chief of. Now let's see the statements here. Both Buddhism and Jainism believe in the concept of karma. This is very correct statement. They both believe the concept of karma. What is karma from there? Karma means from the both Buddhism and Jainism, there is a similarity between these two, that whatever actions we do in our life has some positive and negative impact, and that positive and negative impact has a force which impact the soul, and this force we carry into our next life, that means rebirth. So that's why we can say that the concept of rebirth has also been discussed by Buddhism and Jainism. Why? You can link it here with the concept of karma, that every karma have some positive and negative actions, that is a force behind that, and that force leads us to the next life. Is that clear? So statement 1 is correct here. Statement 2, the concept of sin does not exist in Jainism but is defined in Buddhism. A very interesting part from UPSC point of view angle, or if any PCS also, that you will find some questions on similarity and dissimilarities. So in this regard, the concept of sin is very prominent in Jainism. So is not correct here, but is well defined in Buddhism. That's other way around. It is not well defined in Buddhism. Though I will say it's not silent, but it is not very pronounced that what constitutes the sins. Buddha says nothing is sins. It's all our due to the karma we do. And if we have to get the liberation from this birth, death, then we will have to have the knowledge, the gyan, enlightenment. And how this enlightenment will come? Both Buddhism and Jainism talks about the enlightenment, and this will come from the eightfold path of the Buddhism and 5 vows, pratigya, and 3 ratna of Jainism. So these eightfold path and 3 ratna of Jainism will lead you to the liberation from your actions. You will get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Is that clear? Jainism says that sin is very pronounced. UPSC has also asked this question in 2023 prelims. There is a statement which leads to the conclusion of said by Jainism that even rock, plants, any non-living beings also have a soul. So that's why as a living being, you shall not take an effort to commit a sin. Do not eat meat. Do not consume the meat. Do not consume the herbs which have some living force behind that. If you are doing it, you are committing a sin. So sin was a pronounced concept under Jainism. So this statement is incorrect here. Next is Buddhism and Jainism rejected the authority of Vedas. No question on that. They have rejected the authority of Vedas. That's why they were different. Fine. They were different from the Vedic Karma Kand. It talks about karma, but the Vedic and the Vedas talk about not every Vedas, but mostly Karma Kand. So they were against the Karma Kand approach of Vedas. Vedas says that through this Karma Kand, in your daily life, in your grihast life, household life, you can get the liberation from the birth and death. You can get prosperity. You will be meeting with the Paramatma. But Buddhism and Jainism says that you have to liberate yourself here. You shall not commit a sin. You shall be following some eightfold path. So they rejected the authority of Vedas by saying that Vedas are rejected on the ground that such karma kanda will lead to the liberation. For liberation, you have to follow the middle path, the path of non-violence. Is that clear? So what we have to see here is correct or incorrect. So only 2, 1 and 3 are here. Correct statements. So we will conclude with going with the answer B, that is only 2 is our correct. Next question we are going to see. Question number 19, and the question talks about with reference to the Indian School of Philosophy. Again, a very interesting question, I will call it. With reference to the Indian School of Philosophy, consider the following statement. Aspirants, first of all, I will tell you what was the Indian School of Philosophy. India being a land of religion, some part of the religion getting corrupted due to the social economic aspect, some were misinterpreted for the dominance of one section, but to quote unquote, to dig deeper into the realities that why such religious theories have been given, what a man ought to, why he have taken his birth, what is the eternal truth, why we are living. These kind of questions were inquired by the schools of philosophy to find the eternal truth. And in India we have two sections of Indian schools of philosophy. First is Astic, which consider Veda as an authority, Veda as a ephemeral, Veda as a pious thing, but they interpret into the philosophical Upanishadic traditions. Second is Gnostic, heterodox, some like Charvak, Lokayat, the philosophy of people, that is Lokayat, Charvak, materialistic philosophy. They say that no need for penance, no need for such knowledge, which is bombarding the mind of human being. You only need to enjoy the life. Your birth is to enjoy the life. Don't think about sin and other things. उन्होंने कहा है, बहुत फेमस उनका कोट है ये, अगर उधार लेके भी घी खाना है तो खाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आपका जन्म इसके लिए हुआ है. But the most popular ones in India are the 6 school of philosophy, 6 schools from the Astika. Astika. Is that clear? So, 6 schools are obvious: Vaishishk, Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, Yoga, Sankhya, Nyaya. So let's talk about the statements here. Vaishishk school of philosophy states that all objects in the physical universe, means which we are seeing, are reducible to a finite number of atoms. Very interesting. Now a movie also came, Oppenheimer, very popular movie, on the concept of atom bombs. So the Vaishishk school of philosophy talk about that whatever we see in the physical universe are made up of atoms, anu. Different anus are there, matters are there, atoms are there. And in those atoms, there are finite number of atoms. They are, when these anu combine, they can be made as parmanu, the bigger one. And in these atoms, what caused the consciousness, chetana? We all have the chetana, chetanavastha. That prakriti, the Brahma caused, Brahma is not the God, but the concept of soul, the pure soul, the Brahma, the consciousness. Brahma causes consciousness in these atoms, and this has been said by Vaishishk, that in all our universe, what we are seeing is a reducible of a finite number of atoms, and Brahma causes the consciousness in these atoms. So that makes statement 1 correct. Purva Mimamsa philosophy encompasses the Nyaya Vaishishk system and emphasizes the concept of valid knowledge. Now we'll take 2 minutes to explain these things very briefly. What is Nyaya? Nyaya philosophy says that knowledge has to be valid. It shall be justified. न्याय संगत होना चाहिए. कोई भी ज्ञान हो, एक न्याय संगत रूप से आपके पास होना चाहिए. वो उसके पीछे का रीजन, you shall look for the reasons of behind that knowledge. The logical reasoning shall be there, because without logical reasoning and going deeper into the reasons, you're not going to comprehend what the system of knowledge wants to convey to you. It may be very imbalanced, it may create very imbalanced in your perception of a knowledge. So that's why Nyaya said that for knowledge, you have to understand through the 3 things mainly. Interpretation, interpret the knowledge. Perception may lead to a knowledge. Then there's comparison. Then shabda, it means hearing. These are the 4 components which will lead you to the valid knowledge. Knowledge, this is justified. Is that clear? So interpretation, perception, comparison, shabda. Compare a knowledge to one another. infer the real meaning behind that, and you will get the clarity about that truth. So if you are doing your knowledge justified, then you will get the liberation. Not liberation, you will get the truth. You will understand the truth behind everything in the universe. Is that clear? Now Vaishishka, I told you, Brahma, truth can be understood by understanding the concept of consciousness caused by Brahma. So of course, now this proved Mimamsa here. Why I am getting this approach? Because you will get to understand the real meaning of the statement, that why Purv Mimamsa encompasses the Nyaya Vaishishka. So Nyaya, justified knowledge, Vaishishka based on the consciousness, Brahma, the creator, who is causing the consciousness, Chetana in the atoms. Now this Purv Mimamsa means, Mimamsa says, the philosophy of Mimamsa, that Vedas are eternal. They consist the real knowledge, and through the Vedic rituals, if performed in a particular manner which has been described, then you will get the real knowledge behind the eternal truth. And for that matter, you have to do as the Vedas says. Then you will find the reason behind the Vedic philosophy. Then you will find the real reason behind the truth. So that's why, as we have seen, Nyaya Vaishishka, same thing for the truth, reasoning. So Purv Mimamsa said that Vedic knowledge and traditions have to be followed in a true spirit to get the real truth. Then you can get the real reasoning behind those Vedic traditions. And in that manner, this encompasses the Nyaya Vaishishka system and emphasizes the concept of valid knowledge, the knowledge which is valid. Now, why this Purva has been used? Purva means who follows the Vedic interpretation. Is that clear? Some later tradition came that called Uttar Mimamsa, but here we are concerned with the Purva Mimamsa. One more school very important, Yoga, which says that our sense organs have to be controlled. Then we can get to know the real truth. And for controlling the sense organs, we need to practice pranayama, yoga. Yoga means the union. Then our soul and self, we are the self, the real soul, Brahma, they will be connected and you will get the real knowledge. So our answer here would be both 1 and 2 are correct. The philosophy of Sankhya talk about the Purush and Prakriti. There are two matters, they combine and they form the universe. This is the real truth. So let's wrap this question. I hope you get the clarity about the sixth school of philosophy here. Now we are going to have the question number 20. Question 20th is about some economic life during the Mughal period. First statement says, the Kabuliyat system involved a deed agreement between the peasant and the government, like a state. The term jins a kamil or kamil during the Mughal era denotes the loans that were provided to the peasants. With regard to the economic life during Mughals, because we are concerning here with the land revenue of the Mughals, and this is about the crops. So let me give you a very brief idea about the land revenue system of Mughals, how they were channelized, and thereafter we are going to see the statements. The land revenue system during the Mughals were based on a scientific assessment. And one thing you have to keep in mind, that when one says land revenue under Mughals, it doesn't denote the revenue on land, but revenue on crop. The revenue under Mughal, the land revenue under Mughals were levied on the crops and not on the land. This may come in the UPSC. Valid knowledge. You have to go into the deeper into the land revenue system. So, crop was taxed. How it was done? Abul Fazl in Ain Akbari gives a brief description about the land revenue system under the Mughals. Under the Mughals, what happened? That assessment was done. I will write it here. An assessment, previous assessment was done, and this was called as task his. Task his assessment was called task his. After this assessment, now first coming to see how the assessment was done. It was done on the basis of a concept or the term known as Galla Bakshi. Galla Bakshi, also called Batai. However, there were one more term known as Japti. It was used by Sirsa Suri. Of course, in some reasons and in some period, it was also used by Mughals, but later this Galla Bakshi was there for the assessment of crops and what revenue had to be levied. So in this regard, what is Galla Bakshi? It consists of three components. First component was when, first of all, when Kharif and Rabi were the seasons when the assessment was done, as we are doing nowadays also, government announces MSP for Kharif and Rabi. So at that point of time also, they were having the land revenue on Kharif in the seasons of land assessment during the Kharif and Rabi. And there were three kinds. First, when the crop was standing, it was assessed that how much had to be paid to the state as a revenue. Second, when it was at the threshold floor, and third, when it was cut and put into sacks or in heaps, you can say. ऐसे जमा करते थे वो क्रॉप्स को, एंड देन उस टाइम में मुगल के स्टेट जो गवर्नर्स थे और जो उनके रेवेन्यू ऑफिसर्स थे, they used to assess that how much crop had to be given to the state by the cultivator. Is that clear? Now coming to this point, assessment was clear. Galla Bakshi, Batai system, three methods. Assessment was there. Now after assessment, Jama word was used. Jama, it denotes the estimation, how much has been estimated by as a land revenue from the crops. Then there was Hasil. After Jama, there is Hasil. Hasil means the actual revenue which has been which came under the Mughal Khajana. So the treasury was filled in this way. The whole system was worked in this way. Now coming to this term here, Kabuliyat. After the assessment through Galla Bakshi, Jama and Hasil, this Kabuliyat system, there was a patta given. After assessment, one patta was given to the cultivator, and that patta consists of the information on the land which is under the holdings of that particular cultivator, and the crops which has to be taxed. An approx estimation of produce was there in the patta, the title deed, the information on land, and when this patta deed is signed, then there was this kabuliyat, that you are in agreement. You are agreeing to pay this much of revenue to the state. That's called kabuliyat. Agreement deed, patta and kabuliyat. Is that clear? Between the peasant and the government. So first statement is correct here. Statement 2, the terms jins e kamil during the Mughal era denotes the loans that were provided to the peasant. Now it was not the loan, but it was a kind of commercial crop. It was a kind of commercial crop, or you can say the cash crop. And chief among them were the cotton and sugarcane. Cash crop constitute one of the most popular and intensive ways through which the revenue system of Mughal were collected, and they filled up the treasury of the Mughals. They contributed a lot from the sector of agriculture to the Mughals. And if the agriculture is good, of course, it will lead to the more secondary nature of the industries which were in prevalence during that moment of time. It was said that India having almost 60% of the world GDP, though it may be bardic, but yeah, it was true. We are trading in n number of agricultural commodities, some crafts, artisans were there. We are called a land of gold. Sone ki chidiyan. So 2 is incorrect here. Why? Because of not a loan but a commercial crop. So our answer would be A only. That is the correct answer. Next question. The question number 21 about the Carnatic Wars. Consider the following pairs regarding Carnatic Wars. The first Carnatic War, Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Second Carnatic War, Battle of Vendevache. Third Carnatic War, Treaty of Paris. Now, before discussing this Carnatic War, I would like you to give a brief. What were the Carnatic Wars? When the British and French were in the process of establishing their colony, making more stronger colonial conquest, they were the stiff competitors. And the Europe, they were having the conflict in a war of succession in Austria, and of course it was carried over to India. And in the process of colonization, territorial expansion was one of the factors. Because of the territorial expansion, you will get the more economic rights, more economic opportunities, and that will lead you to consolidate your position better in India, in your colony. Is that clear? Carnatic is a region, not a map to scale, but Carnatic is a region between the Western Ghat and Eastern Ghats. You can see this is the region of Carnatic, Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Nowadays, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka can be considered as Carnatic. And who were the ruler of Carnatic? The Nawabs. Because after the gradual decline of Mughal Empire, we see in the history, in the NCERT itself, that there are some independent states, successor states came, they were the governors, and in this process, Hyderabad was there, Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah dynasty, and then in the Carnatic, the Nawab was Anwaruddin, the Arcot, the Nawab of Arcot. UPSC 21 has asked about the Arcot. So this was the situation. There were 4 powers: British, French, Hyderabad, and Carnatic region, the Arcot region, Nawab Anwaruddin. Is that clear? So, in this process, we are going to see that how this Carnatic War played. First Carnatic War, 1746 to 48. This was the year when the first Carnatic War was fought. Go a little back, 16 to 17 years, you will find there was a Battle of Karnal when the Nadir Shah attacked. It exposed the weakness of the Mughals, and there is a lack of central authority. And due to this lack of central authority, anyone can attack, anyone can frame out or carve out their own independent kingdoms. So trading with political conquest was an easy task, and this has been understood properly by French and the British. So in the Carnatic region, both were competing powers, and Dupleix, the Governor General of France, understood this, that if you have to get the real power in India, you have to be kingmaker. दो राजाओं के बीच में हस्तक्षेप करो, दोनों को कहो आपको हम ये देंगे, आपको ये देंगे, और अपना काम निकालो, उनसे पावर्स लो, उनसे बेनिफिट्स लो, take the benefits out of those kingdoms and contribute to the French colonization. So what happened in the first Carnatic War? The naval of British attacked the French base at Pondicherry, and in order to repel that attack, Dupleix and La Bourdonnais were the governor, and they came and they repelled the attack, and in that process they captured the Madras from the British. Fine. They captured the Madras from the British, and when they captured, the British appealed to the Nawab Anwaruddin. He came to help the British forces, but the real winner was French. But after that, the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle was signed. It concluded the conflict over the war of succession in Austria, and in this treaty, it was also said that Madras will be given back to the English. So this first war was inconclusive, no such result. Second war was a in continuity with the agenda of first war, but it was not the Battle of Wandiwash, it was Battle of Ambur. The first was Battle of St. Thomas. Second was Battle of Ambur. Third was Battle of Wandiwash. In the second battle, Battle of Ambur, second one is incorrect here. Third kinetic war, Treaty of Paris. So during the third kinetic war, aggression was from the French side, and it was for the securing the Nawabship for the Anwaruddin and Chanda Sahib. They were the competing factors here. So in this, there was a Battle of Wandiwash 1759 to 60s, and it decided in this, the French lost the war and they were kicked out of the India. Their territorial position were taken by the British, though the French were given the territories in the northern part of America, and they were asked to leave the India for British. And this was the conclusive war for British, in which the threat of French was neglected, nullified. So only two are correct here, with the Treaty of Paris, which I have talked, which is saying the Treaty of Paris, that French threat was nullified. They were given the lands in Northern America. So only two would be correct here. C option is correct. Is that clear? So second battle was from 1749 to 56, and this is from 56 to 63. Let's move to the next question here, question number 22. The question number 22 is about revolution, tribal revolt by hills. In the last test, we have discussed about the Eki movement. Now this is Rampa rebellion against the British. It was in the year 1921 to 22. In that moment of time, we have the non-cooperation movement in India. Alluri Sitaram Raju was a revolutionary. So let's read the statement here. He led the Rampa rebellion against the British, which coincided with the Mahatma Gandhi's non-cooperation movement. It's true statement. It's correct. He believed in the methods of non-violence. No, he was the professor of violent movements, that British can be such force can be repelled only by the way of violence. So it's not correct here. He was nicknamed Manayan Virudu by local villagers. It means hero, the sacred hero. Is that clear? So 1 and 3 are correct here. So only 2 would be the answer. Now what was the reason for this Rampa rebellion? The reason for this Rampa rebellion was the Madras Act. Madras Act of 1882, that was also called the Forest Act. What ban it conferred for the people that they have rebelled? They have banned the shifting cultivation. The shifting cultivation was called Podu, P-O-D-U, Podu. So they banned the Podu and the movement of tribals in the forest areas, because they had to use the forest as a resource for their colonial benefits. They have they said that the forest dwellers are not allowed in the core forest areas, and they cannot do the shifting cultivation. And when you attack someone on their economic position, they will of course rebel, and the rebellion found the source of strength in Alluri Sitaramma Raju, who was a revolutionary. He gathered the peasants and tribals in the Ganjam and Andhra districts, and he started the rebel. He said that non-violence is not the method, violence has to be used. Though he advocated, after getting the inspiration from non-cooperation movement, that tribals had not to wear the foreign clothes, they have to give up the practice of drinking. So only 2 here are correct statement. He was caught and shot in 1924. This is very important movement from the examination point of view. Next question about question 23. It's about the folk art and dance form, Bhutakola. It is said to have some influence from Yakshgan. Yakshgan is Karnataka, Mysuru region. It is basically a form of special group singing to please local spirits or deities. And we have to find the correct answer here. Bhutakola, you can remember the movie Kantara, in which a certain dance performance was there. Fine. In this dance performance, local spirits and deities were involved. They were imitated. The performer was given a very respected position. It is said that local deities came on that performer, and the performer tells the story of the origin and coming to that village, the purpose of coming to that village. So statement 1 is correct. Of course, it has some influence from the Yakshagana. 2 is incorrect. Why? It is not the singing, but it was a dance performance. It was a dance performance, Kantara. So Bhutakola, dance performance where local spirits or deities were worshipped, were imitated, and they have formed a kind of dance to please and imitate those local spirit and deities. So question number 23, we have the answer is A here. Only one is correct. Now let's move to the next question. A question about feudalism. Feudalism, the most defining feature of medieval India, started the evidence of origin of feudalism can be traced back to the Gupta era when the land grants were given, and in the lieu of land grants, you have to give some service to the state, military service, political service. So that's why, and after the Gupta, in the Harsha era, feudalism expanded, and in the medieval time, it became the most defining feature. Why defining feature? Because feudalism was an aspect which controlled the political, social, and economic features. Why these three dimensions were attached to it? Because in feudalism, it is said that king or the landlord or the king, we can say, give the land to the nobles, and they have to perform some military political function for the king, and nobles appointed vassals beside them, and the vassals who was under those appointed the peasants, the cultivators were given the work, the duty on working on the land, and they were tied to that land, that you cannot move out of this land. The economic independence was limited. If the certain area is feudal areas, no one can move out of that. It led to the decline of economy, and that's why some historians say that this period was a dark phase, but still some debates are there. Nevertheless, we are going to see the statement here, feudalism in medieval India. You get the thing, political, social, and economic factors were involved in this feudalism. Feudalism came out of the then existing social system in the medieval times, true. As I've told you, Jagirs awarded to nobles were neither hereditary nor permanently awarded to them. This Jagir system came under the Mughals. The statement is true. Why true? Because in Mughals you have read about we read about the Mansabdaris, the rank and file of the Jat and Sawars, and these Mansabdari were paid Jagirs. Jagirs were given to them. Even in later Sultanate period also, Jagirs were given to them, that you take this Jagir and take out the revenue and use it as a source of income. Do whatever you want, but they were not hereditary. It can be taken away and not permanently awarded to them. Thick. 2 is correct here. Jor Talab was a land where people were generally rebellious. True statement. It was a more kind of land where if you're going to collect the revenue system, the state representatives were beaten up, they were held hostage, and that's why no one wants to go or to take the Jagirs of the Jor Talab land. This was called a punishment Jagir. Fine, so all three are correct here. Feudalism, the most defining feature of medieval India. Next is question number 25th. The question says that which of the following events is related to the retired soldier of British Indian Army named Bhagwan Ahir? A bit of non-conventional from the history section, but Bhagwan Ahir was connected with non-cooperation movement. You all have heard about Chauri Chaura. So Bhagwan Ahir was there in Chauri Chaura. He was leading. He was a demobilized soldier of British. and he was leading the movement. He was arrested. Bhagwan Ahir was arrested, and when he was burning cloth or picketing, he was arrested, and the procession was started in Chauri Chaura. And in that process, the history is there that the police station was set afire, and after that Gandhiji recalled the movement of non-cooperation movement. Fine. So this is the non-cooperation movement. 25th question number, option A is correct here. The next question is about the Battle of Chamkaur. The Battle of Chamkaur, which resulted in infusing a strong military ideology among the peasants, was fought between Guru Gobind Singh Ji and the joint forces of the Mughals and the Rajputs. Getting into the brief idea and the background behind this Battle of Chamkaur, what happened that during the era of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he started to build the Khalsa. Khalsa means the union. The union for what? To rebel, to fight against the oppressors, to fight for the helpless people. This was the Khalsa. It was a militaristic notion attached. The first Sikh Guru who started to taking the arms was Guru Har Gobind Singh. Is that clear? So Guru Gobind Singh was the 10th Guru, last Guru. After that, Guru Adi Granth is considered as the Guru. Adi Granth compiled by Guru Arjan Dev, the 5th Guru. So what happened that he started to gather the forces, and in that process, the Rajput chieftains, the chiefs of the Rajput in the hills, and some Mughal governors complained to the Mughal ruler Aurangzeb Alamgir, and in that process he dispatched a force to cull the rebel, to cull the forces of Guru Tegh Bahadur. Along with Guru Tegh Bahadur, the Khalsa of 40 men were there. They fought very bravely, and in Chamkaur, in a mud hill fort, they were holding their forte. A huge attack was there from the forces, but they sustained the attack, and later on we find the evidence that the famous one, Chiriyo se mein baaj ladawa, sawa lakh se ek lada, was given by Guru Gobind Singh Ji at that moment of time, and only 40 men culled the rebellion of Mughals and Rajput chiefs. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji and the joint forces of Mughals and the Rajputs were in the Battle of Chamkaur. Answer is D here. After this battle also, there were more number of peasants coming, taking up the arms, and they formed the Khalsa. Question number 27. 27 question number about Subhash Chandra Bose and his associations and his works. The first statement, Bose joined in INC, Indian National Congress, under the influence of Mahatma Gandhi, and started the newspaper Swaraj. Is correct statement. He was influenced by the Gandhi, though not following his ideology, because the ideology of Subhash was different from the Gandhi. Subhash said that why to meet any compromise from point with the oppressor, the Britishers, the capitalist mindset. Nevertheless, both were having a great respect for this, and Swaraj was the paper. He started in 1921. One is correct statement. Havelock Island has been renamed as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Dweep, a factual one, but it was not the Havelock Island. The Havelock was named as Swaraj Island. Swaraj Island. Fine. Netaji Subhash Dweep is the Rose Island, and Neil is the Shahid Island. Shahid Island. The Neil Island has been renamed as Shahid Island. What happened? One very interesting fact associated with this statement is, year 1943, Japanese advancement. They attacked the Andaman and Nicobar. They liberated the Andaman and Nicobar from British control. And on December 29th, Netaji was invited to take the control of the Andaman. He hoisted the tricolor flag, and it can also be called as the first hoisting of the tricolor on the Indian soil, Andaman and Nicobar. Is that clear? And thereafter he named Swaraj and Shahid Dweeps. So that's why this question has been asked, a very important question from the examination point of view. So only one statement is correct here. Answer would be A. 27 answer is A. Next question is question number 28, and it's about the art and culture, musical instrument. Narsing Pettai Nagaswaram. It was in news recently. It is the classical wind musical instrument of Kerala. No, not Kerala. It's of Tamil Nadu. GI tag has been given to it. Tamil Nadu. It's a wind musical instrument made of wood and metals, and it is being used to play, and it is used to play in the any auspicious occasions and religious ceremonies, also called Mangala Vaidyam. Vaidyam means instrument. Instrument is also known as Nakaswaram. All 2 and 3 statement are correct here. Only 2 would be the answer. Find B, only 2 would be the answer. And this has been given the GI tag. Narsing Pettai Nagaswaram. Question number 29th. About the Sun Temple at Konark. Very famous medieval era temple. Built in the year 1250 AD by Shod Ganga dynasty. Narsingh Dev. Fine. So let's read the statement here. Famously known as the Black Pagoda, it was used by sailors as a navigational landmark. Correct statement. Now it is 2 km from the seashore, but during the medieval times, they are very nearby, and it serves as the navigational landmark for the sailors. Black Pagoda, why? Because dark colored rocks and materials have been used. Condylite rocks have been used there. Those soft but dark in color. That's why Black Pagoda. White Pagoda is Jagannath Temple. Temple was built by Narsingh, what I have said, Dev of Ganga dynasty. True. Temple is depicted on the reverse side of the Indian currency of note 10. Very important. Go through the depiction on the notes of Indian. 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, 100, 200, 500. Though 2000 has been discontinued, not going to that. To signify the importance of Indian cultural heritage. So all 3 statements are correct here. Now the Sun Temple Konark is very famous. The origin of the worshipping the sun started in the Samba Puran. Samba was the son of the Krishna. Legends and Bardic says that Samba started the sun worshipping. Is that clear? So, and what is the architecture of this Konark temple? It is in Kalinga style architecture, Kalinga Odishan style, and most prominently almost 60% to 70% of the features are from the Nagara style, because it has the Shikhara and a Jagmohan called assembly hall. It has Shikhara and Jagmohan. That's why it's called the Nagara style. Kalinga with the most prominent features of Nagara style was there. So all 3 statements would be correct here. All 3 statements are correct, and yeah. Next question is the last question of history. Question number 38 from the Bhakti movement. Bhakti movement was the most prominent movement during the early and later medieval period, and in this regard 2 names were given. Akka Mahadevi and Alama Prabhu were the pioneers of Bhakti movement in which state? Answer is Karnataka. Along with Basavana or Basava, the Lingyats, these 2 are the prominent Lingyats who led the Lingyat movement, Lingyat Shiva. In fact, Akka Mahadevi was so much engrossed into the devotion for Shiva that she considered herself the wife of Shiva. As we have Mirabai, the friend of Krishna, so we have Akka Mahadevi as a consort. She considered as the wife of Shiva. And they were from the Karnataka. From Maharashtra, we have many names. Tukaram, Namdev, Tamil Nadu, Andal, Northern India, Mirabai, Guru Nanak, etc. And Bhakti movement was a movement, very prominent one, to reinforce the real idea of Bhakti, to erase the social discrepancies in the Bhakti, removing the caste influences, and this movement plays a huge role in negating, at some point of view, the caste influences in the religion. It tried to revive the religion point. So answer is Karnataka, and that's lead to the wrapping of the session for history here. The next session is from the science, technology and environment from Sir. So meet you in the next session. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, good evening. So we are going to start our discussion of environment questions first. So environment question starts from question number 45. So let us go to question number 45. So first question is, which of the following statements differentiate between habitat and ecological niche? Right, so habitat is the physical environment which is used by living organisms to live, right? So it is part of environment which is preferred by certain organisms to live. And what is ecological niche? Ecological niche is the functional role and thus the position of an organism in a particular environment, right? So that is what is ecological niche. Let us consider the statements first. Ecological niche focuses on how the environment impacts the organism, while habitat focuses on how the organism impacts the environment, right? So see, what we have discussed, habitat is the environment, it is the part of environment where a particular organism lives, like let's say glaciers which are preferred by polar bears. So glaciers would have impact on polar bears, and as a result of that they will have various kinds of adaptations, right? So for habitat it is the environment which will have its impact on organism, and for ecological niche it is the organism that will have its impact on the environment. And that's why this statement which says that ecological niche focuses on how environment impacts the organism is incorrect, because it is other way around. It is for ecological niche, it is how organism impacts the environment, and for habitat, it is how environment impacts the organism, right? And that's why first statement is an incorrect statement. Second, once a niche is left vacant, other organisms can never fill that position, right? So if there is a loss of certain species, niche associated with that species will also become vacant. So is it the case that that niche will not be filled up by anyone? No, that is not the case. Niche will be taken up by certain closely related species, because that closely related species do not have competition for this niche now, right? And that's why once niche is vacant, it will be taken up by a closely related species. And that's why this statement which says that once it is vacant will can never be filled up is incorrect. Second statement is also incorrect. Third statement now. Competitive exclusion is a phenomenon occurring in between two species competing for the same habitat. See, there are different species which can share habitat. Polar glaciers does not belong only to polar bears. There can be other organisms as well, maybe polar, maybe snow leopards, right? but niche will be one and only one for one organism, right? Niche sharing does not happen. In a particular ecosystem, niche is separate for all different species in that ecosystem. And that's why competitive exclusion is a phenomenon occurring in between species competing for the same niche, right? If two species are competing for same niche, one of them will go extinct, and that is what is competitive exclusion, right? One of them will be excluded. So all these three statements are incorrect statements. What we are supposed to find out, how many of the above given statements are correct? None of them is correct, and that's why answer of this question is D. Answer of question number 45 is D. Next now, 46. Consider the following statements regarding adaptation in plants. Right? First statement. Temporary migration is also a form of adaptation in plants. So this statement, though looks incorrect on the face of it, is correct statement. Why? Because yes, plants also exhibit the adaptability of temporary migration, right? So first statement is a correct statement, and that is in the form of dispersal of seeds, right? Temporary migration is in the form of dispersal, because for any population there are four important characteristics. Those are firstly density, secondly natality, third mortality, and fourth is dispersal. Dispersal consists of migration, and seed dispersal is a kind of migration, and that's why first statement is a correct statement. Second statement now, adaptation can become fixed genetically in plants during evolution, right? So that is a correct statement, because we know that once a particular species has adapted to certain environmental conditions, those adaptations would be passed on to the next generations as well, right? And that's why adaptation can become fixed genetically in plants during the process of evolution. Fine. So this second statement is also a correct statement. Third, CAM. Now what is CAM? CAM is a kind of adaptation. It is crassulacean acid metabolism. It is seen in desert plants, wherein desert plants would be able to carry out the activity of photosynthesis during daytime, but without exchange of gases through opening of their stomata. Because if they open stomata during daytime, they will also face loss of water. Water is a scarce commodity in the desert location, and that's why these desert plants would try to conserve water, right? And that's why this kind of metabolism is seen in desert plants, wherein they carry out the activity of photosynthesis during daytime, but exchange of gases would happen in night. That is what is crassulacean acid metabolism. Let us consider the statements. CAM, a special photosynthetic pathway, is a form of adaptation found in aquatic plants. Incorrect. It is found in desert plants. So only first two statements are correct, and that's why answer is B, because we are supposed to find out statements which are correct. So two statements are correct, and that's why answer is B. 46 answer is B. 47 now. With reference to energy flow in an ecosystem, consider the following statements. First, in detritus food chain DFC, the energy flow begins with the action of saprotrophs. Right, so this statement is a correct statement, because in detritus food chain we know that first trophic level would be occupied by dead organic matter. On this dead organic matter there will be action of saprotrophs, and that's why energy flow starts with saprotrophs in detritus food chain. First statement is correct. Second, the pyramid of energy flow is always inverted, as some amount of energy is always lost at each trophic level. Incorrect statement. You must have studied in the standard sources wherein they say that pyramid of energy will always be upright. It can never be inverted. Why? Because producers would always have more amount of energy than primary consumers. Primary consumers would always have more amount of energy than secondary consumers, and so on. And that's why pyramid of energy can never be inverted. It will always be upright. Second statement is incorrect. Third, only 2 to 10% of the photosynthetically active radiation PAR is sufficient for sustaining the entire living world. Right? So this statement is a correct statement because the photosynthetically active radiations, out of that only 2 to 10% photosynthetically active radiation is used by plants to carry out the activity of photosynthesis, and hence third statement is a correct statement. We don't need, plants don't need all the sunlight that is available for photosynthesis. Only a part of photosynthetically active radiation is used for the activity of photosynthesis. So only first and third statements are correct. So again, how many statements are correct? Only 2 are correct, and that's why answer of this question is B, only 2. 47, answer is B. Next now, 48. Consider the following statements. First, biological oxygen demand is inversely proportional to the algal bloom. This statement is an incorrect statement. Now, the statement is saying that biological oxygen demand increases, or biological oxygen demand, let's say, decreases with increase in algal bloom. That is what is inverse proportion, right? BOD decreases, algal bloom increases. This is not so. As algal bloom increases, there would be increase in the biological oxygen demand as well. And that's why they are not inversely proportional, they are directly proportional to each other. First statement is incorrect. First statement is incorrect. Second, cultural eutrophication is the acceleration of the aging process of water bodies due to anthropogenic activities. This statement is a correct statement. Cultural eutrophication is the aging of water bodies because of release of nutrient-rich water in the form of sewage waste or agricultural waste into the water bodies, and that's why that leads to that fastens up or increases the speed of eutrophication, and that is what is called as cultural eutrophication. Second statement is a correct statement. First is incorrect, second is correct. We are supposed to find out which statement is incorrect. First is incorrect, and that's why answer is A, one only. Question number 48, answer is A. 49 now. Which of the following statements are incorrect about conservation practices? First, sacred groves found in Khasi and Jaintia hills in Meghalaya represent ex situ conservation of ecosystem. Right? So, sacred groves are those plants or group of plants found in a particular forest which are worshipped by tribal people, right? So if it is worshipped by tribal people, often it would be a no-go zone. That means the resources from that particular area would not be used, and hence it is a kind of conservation practice. But this is not ex situ conservation practice, it is in situ conservation practice, and that's why first statement is incorrect. It is not ex situ, it is in situ. Second, zoological parks, botanical gardens and wildlife safari parks reflects the conservation of animals in their natural habitat. Incorrect statement, right? Zoological parks, botanical gardens and the safari parks, they are ex situ, they are not natural habitats. Animals would be brought in these areas so that they will be able to get better habitat, better living conditions, and thus conservation is being ensured. But it is not natural habitat of those animals, and hence second statement is also an incorrect statement which says that those kind of conservation habitats are natural. It is incorrect. Third, gametes preservation through cryopreservation is an example of in situ conservation of method. Again, an incorrect statement. Why this statement is incorrect? Because we know that in situ conservation is a type of conservation where we conserve biodiversity in its natural habitat. So, natural habitat is in the form of, let's say, a forest or a particular aquatic ecosystem. But the cryopreservation of gametes is done outside of the natural habitat, not inside of it. And that's why third statement is an incorrect statement. Gamete preservation through cryopreservation is ex situ conservation, not in situ. So third statement is also incorrect. So all these three statements are incorrect statements, and we are supposed to find out statements which are incorrect. So answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. Question number 49, answer is D. Next, 50th question. Consider the following statements regarding effects of water pollution. First, microorganisms involved in biodegradation of organic matter results in increase in dissolved oxygen. So this statement is an incorrect statement. Why this is incorrect? Because we know that when microbial activity increases, it is an oxygen intensive process, because microbes being living organisms need oxygen for their increased respiration. And that's why when this activity of microbes increases in polluted water body, that leads to fall in the level of oxygen in that water body. And that's why first statement is an incorrect statement. It does not increase oxygen, it leads to decrease in the level of oxygen. Second, high concentrations of DDT disturbed calcium metabolism in birds, which results in decline population of birds. Right? So this statement is a correct statement because of high concentration of DDT, which is a kind of pesticide, disturbed calcium metabolism in birds, and as a result of disturbance in the calcium metabolism of birds, the eggshells of birds thin and they break prematurely, and as a result of premature breakage of these eggs of birds, young ones, new ones won't be able to born, and that will eventually threaten the population of birds. Right? So second statement is correct. We are supposed to find out correct statement. Only 2 is the answer. Answer of this question number 50 is B, 2 only. Next now, question number 51. So in this question number 51, we have pairs wherein on one hand we have a color of, let's say, bags, plastic bags, in which we will be able to put various kinds of waste that is generated especially in hospitals. Right? You must have came across different color bags, yellow color bag, red color bag, blue color bags, black color bags, etc. So we are supposed to find out which color is used for which type of waste generated in hospitals. First, yellow waste. So it is matched with human tissues, organs, body parts and fetus below the viability period. Right? So that statement, that pair is correct pair. Yellow bags are used for human tissues, organs, etc. First pair is correct. Second, red waste, it is matched with contaminated waste, waste generated from disposal items. Right? So this is again a correct pair. Third, white waste, waste sharps including metals, needles, syringes with fixed needles. Right? So this is again a correct pair. Blue waste, broken or discarded and contaminated glasses including medicine vials. Right? So all these pairs of the hospital waste and their color codes are correctly matched, and that's why answer of this question is all pairs are correctly matched. How many pairs are correctly matched? All pairs are correctly matched. Answer is D. So this is a kind of informative question. If you don't have this information, you can note down this information in your notes. 52 now. Consider the following. How many of the above mentioned factors are responsible to cause urban heat island phenomenon? So urban heat island phenomenon is the phenomenon wherein the temperature of urban areas would be higher than the areas in the vicinity of that urban area. And this is a kind of heat island, and hence it is called as urban heat island effect. So this urban heat island effect is the result of number of factors. Those factors are like high population of urban areas than the vicinity, use of vehicles, use of different machines like ACs, generators and all. Then it also is the result of lack of tree cover in urban areas, concretization, tar roads and also urban canyons. That means the buildings are high in urban areas, high-rise buildings are there, and as a result of those high-rise buildings, winds won't be able to take the heat generated in urban areas with them. Heat would not be removed from those locations from where it is generated, and hence heat would accumulate in that area, leading to rise in temperature. And that is what is urban heat island effect. Let us consider the causes of it or factors responsible. First is densely populated urban areas. Yes, it is a factor. Second, low albedo materials. Yes, it is also a factor. Low albedo materials means albedo effect is albedo effect increases when we have a material which is of white color, right? For example, snow snow can carry out albedo effect, right? Similarly, white colored materials, they also lead to albedo effect, right? Those materials are used often on the roofs of houses, and that's why those roofs are called as cold roofs, right? But in urban areas, we hardly use these kind of things, and that also leads to urban heat island. Third, urban canyons. Yes, urban canyons means high-rise buildings do not allow wind to dissipate the heat generated in those urban areas. So all these three are the factors leading to urban heat island. Answer is C. Question number 52, answer is C. Now 53. Consider the following statements regarding Forest Survey Report 2021 with respect to the previous edition, right? So Forest Survey Report, last Forest Survey Report was given in 2021. Let us consider the statements first. Andhra Pradesh recorded highest increase in forest cover, followed by Telangana and Odisha. So this statement is a correct statement. There is rise in forest cover and highest increase is seen in the state of Andhra Pradesh, then Telangana, and then Odisha. Second, Northeast region recorded an increase in forest cover by 0.60%. So this statement is incorrect. In fact, in northeastern states, there is fall in the forest cover by 0.60%, right? So it is not increase, it is decrease, and that's why second statement is incorrect. Third, the mangrove cover in the country has decreased by 0.34% as compared to the previous assessment. Incorrect. Mangrove cover in India has increased, and it has increased by 0.34% only. So second and third statements are incorrect. First is correct. We are supposed to find out how many statements are incorrect. So two statements are incorrect, and hence answer is B. Question number 53, answer is B. Next now 54. Consider the following statements regarding wet bulb temperature. So wet bulb temperature is the temperature that was referred to by IPCC in its 6th assessment report part 2, wherein it says that wet bulb temperature is the temperature where temperature of air is high and also its humidity is high. And as a result of high temperature and high humidity, what happens? The evaporational loss of sweat, which has its cooling impact on our body, would not work. That mechanism of evaporation of sweat fails, and that will make sure that the cooling impact of evaporational of sweat reduces, and that is one of the huge impact on human health, because we sweat so that sweat evaporates and there will be cooling impact on our body to help us maintain our internal body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius. But if this mechanism fails, that would be fatal for human beings. Let us consider the statements. First, it shows the heat and humidity limit beyond which humans cannot tolerate high temperatures. This statement is a correct statement. Beyond wet bulb temperature, we won't be able to tolerate temperature as well as humidity, right? And they say that, means IPCC in its report has said that wet bulb temperature of more than 35 degrees Celsius, if is there for more than 6 hours, the mortality of human beings will increase, right? So that is the observation of IPCC. First statement is correct. Second, the wet bulb temperature reflects on the phenomenon of adiabatic saturation. right? So this statement is a correct statement. So adiabatic saturation is the situation where no heat is gained or lost by a system, right? So if there is no loss or gain of heat, evaporational cooling would fail, and that is one of the important impacts of wet bulb temperature. First two statements are correct. Third, this is the highest temperature to which air can be cooled by the evaporation of water into the air. Now this statement is an incorrect statement. Why it is incorrect? Because wet bulb temperature is the lowest temperature to which air can be cooled by the evaporation of water into air, right? It is not the highest temperature, it is the lowest temperature. So third statement is incorrect statement. First two are correct. We are supposed to find out incorrect statement. How many are incorrect? Only one is incorrect. Answer is A. Question number 54, answer is A. 55 now. The analysis of the environmental DNA has the potential applications in which of the following domains? Now, first of all, what exactly is eDNA? eDNA is, or environmental DNA is the DNA that is accidentally dropped by various organisms in the environment, and that collected DNA can give us idea about the presence or absence of different organisms and thus the condition of that environment, right? So environmental DNA or eDNA is the DNA dropped accidentally by different organisms in the environment. Let us consider the statements. So what we are supposed to find out? We are supposed to find out eDNA has potential applications in which of the following domains? First is invasive species detection. Yes, we can detect invasive species on the basis of eDNA, right? If invasive species is there, it will drop its DNA in the environment, and that can help us detect its present in that environment. First is correct. Second, biodiversity monitoring, right? So this is a general application of eDNA. It will help us monitor biodiversity in a particular area. Second is also correct. Third, water quality assessment, right? So water quality depends upon the presence or absence of various kinds of species in that water. For example, frogs do not prefer polluted water. So if frog DNA is not there in that water, we can infer that water is polluted. Third is also an application. Fourth, monitor and control pests and diseases in agriculture, right? So if we want to know whether a particular agricultural field has the presence or absence of pests, we can use DNA of those pest material if they are available in that particular field. If that DNA is there, we can infer that the pest is present or those insects are present in the agricultural field. In the absence of that DNA, we can say that the agricultural field is not affected by the presence of pest, right? So all four are the applications of eDNA. All four are the potential applications of eDNA. Answer is D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 55, answer is D. Next, 56. Consider the following statements regarding the India Cooling Action Plan, ICAP. So in year 2022, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change came up this ICAP, India Cooling Action Plan, wherein they want to make sure that by 2037-38, there is significant reduction in the cooling demand. There is enhancement in the technology in the cooling sector, and overall we will be able to make sure that the emissions from this particular sector of cooling reduces, right? Because we know that as of now cooling is dependent on a gas that is hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, and these hydrofluorocarbons are greenhouse gases. They are contributing in global warming, and that's why there is a need to transition from these HFCs towards a safer technology, and that would be ensured through ICAP given by MOEF and CC. Let us consider the statements. First, ICAP aims to provide sustainable cooling measures across various sectors, right? So this statement is a correct statement. ICAP is talking about provision of sustainable cooling sectors in various sectors where these cooling needs are increasing. First is correct. Second, ECBC, that is Energy Conservation Building Code for non-residential buildings, and Eco Niwas Samhita for the residential buildings are steps in this direction. Right? We know that there is increase in cooling demand in residential buildings. So through ECBC and through Eco Niwas Samhita, the ICAP is trying to address demand of cooling. Right? ECBC is for non-residential sector and Eco Niwas Samhita is for residential sector. So second statement is also a correct statement, and that's why we can say that both these statements are correct statements regarding ICAP. Answer is C, both 1 and 2. 56 answer is C. Next now 57. Consider the following statements regarding the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, IOC. Statement 1. It coordinates global programs such as ocean mapping, ocean health monitoring, and tsunami risk prevention, as well as numerous scientific research projects. Right? So this statement is a correct statement regarding Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission. Second statement. International Maritime Organization is the supervising agency of the IOC. This statement is incorrect statement. Why? Because IOC is supervised by UNESCO and not by International Maritime Organization, and hence second statement becomes incorrect statement. First statement is correct, second statement is incorrect. Answer is C. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Question number 57, answer is C. Next now, 58. Consider the following statements. First, the fragmentation of large plastic items into microplastics is more on land than in oceans due to reduced UV exposure in the ocean. Right? So this statement is a correct statement because we know that in land the exposure of UV radiations or sunlight is more compared to oceans, because in oceans sunlight has to sunlight rays have to penetrate through the oceanic water, and as a result of that their intensity and thus energy reduces, and hence we have more presence of microplastic formed as a result of UV radiation exposure on land than in oceans. First statement is correct. Second, unlike thermoplastic, thermosets can be melted when heated and hardened when cooling. So this statement is incorrect statement. Why it is incorrect? Because the repeated heating and cooling of plastic is a phenomenon of thermoplastics. It is not a phenomenon of thermosets, because thermosets once molded we won't be able to heat them, we won't be able to recycle them, and that's why second statement is incorrect statement. Third, polyethylene terephthalate PET is a type of thermoplastics, whereas polyurethane PUR is a thermoset. Right? So this statement is a correct statement. Thermosetting plastic, its example is PUR, and thermoplastic example is PET. Right? So third statement is correct, first statement is correct, second is incorrect. We are supposed to find out correct statements. How many are correct? 2 are correct, and that's why answer is B, only 2. 58, answer is B. Next now, 59. Asian Waterbird Census, AWC, is jointly conducted by which of the following? So AWC, Asian Waterbird Census, is conducted by Wetlands International, and it is assisted by Bombay Natural History Society, BNHS. So answer is 1 and 2 only. 1 and 2 only, which is mentioned in option A. Question number 59, answer is A. Next now, question number 60. Oshukaj predator seen in the news recently is associated to which of the following? So it is a kind of fossil that has been derived from the Peruvian coast. Answer of this question is B. It is 36 million year old whale fossil found in Peruvian desert? Answer is B. Question number 60, answer is B. So with that, we have completed our discussion of environment questions. Let us move to questions of science and technology. First question of science and technology is question number 61 only. So consider the following statements regarding the fungi. First, they can be used to replace unsustainable materials such as plastic and synthetic products. So this statement is a correct statement because there are different types of fungi which are acting on plastic and they are reducing plastic and other synthetic materials into simpler forms, and that's why first statement is a correct statement. Second, they have been found to help degrade various pollutants from the environment, right? So that statement is an extension of first statement only. They can degrade various pollutants into simpler form. So second statement is also correct. Third, they can be used to isolate antibiotics like penicillin. So there is a fungus called as fungus penicillium. So from that fungus we can isolate certain chemicals, and those chemicals are called as penicillin. And you must be aware penicillin is an antibiotic chemical, antibiotic drug. So third statement is also a correct statement. So all these three statements are correct. How many are correct? Answer is all three. Question number 61, answer is C. 62 now. Which of the following waterborne diseases is caused by protozoa? So option A is cholera, option B is typhoid. So both these, cholera as well as typhoid, are caused by bacteria. They are not the diseases caused by protozoa. Then we have option D as gastroenteritis. So gastroenteritis is caused by a virus. It is not caused by protozoa, and that's why we are left with option C. It is Geriadis. It is caused by a protozoa. Answer of this question is C. 62, answer is C. Next now, 63. Consider the following statements regarding the nanofibers. So nanofibers are of the size of nanoscale, that means 10 raised to minus 9 meters, and they have high surface to volume ratio. As a result of that, they are more reactive than their natural size counterparts. Also, these nanofibers have light weight, and as a result of that, they are being used in number of applications, be it application of filtration, in the development of sensors, or in the storage of energy. Let us consider the statements regarding nanofibers. First, they can be used in supercapacitors due to the high surface area and fast ion transport. Right, so this statement is a correct statement. In supercapacitors, due to the presence of high surface area of these nanofibers, we are using them. Right, so first statement is correct statement regarding nanofibers. Second, nanofiber based electrodes can provide high surface area for the deposition of active materials, which can increase the efficiency of a solar cell. Right, so given high surface area of these nanofibers, the higher surface area would be exposed to more sunlight, and thus we would be able to produce more energy with the solar panels which have been developed on the basis of nanofibers. Second statement is also correct. Third, nanofibers used as an electrode material in lithium ion batteries can further decrease their energy capacity. Now this statement is an incorrect statement, right? We can use nanofibers in lithium ion batteries, but as a result of use of nanofibers in lithium ion batteries, it would not decrease their energy density, rather it will increase their energy density, and that's why third statement is incorrect. First two statements are incorrect. First two statements are correct. Third is incorrect. Answer is B, only two. Question number 63, answer is B. Only two statements are correct. Next now, 64. Which of the following is correct regarding carbofurans? So carbofurans are used in pesticides, right? And these pesticides that is carbofuran pesticide is used in various parts of globe, especially in the cultivation of potato, and sweet corn, right? Let us consider the options. Option A is it is a pesticide used to control insects and nematodes in agricultural crops, and that is our answer. Question number 64, answer is A. Next now, 65. Although the microchips can be made from materials other than silicon, but silicon is the most widely used material. So this is a correct statement, because in semiconductors or in microchips, it is not that we can only use silicon. There are other combinations, there are other elements that can be used, for example, germanium, right? But despite that, silicon is used on a large scale. Which of the following are the reasons behind this? First statement, materials such as gallium arsenide or indium phosphide offer lower electron mobility than silicon. Now this statement is a correct statement. This statement is an incorrect statement, because the materials, that is gallium arsenide and indium phosphide, they have similar kind of electron mobility compared to silicon, right? It is not that they are poorer compared to silicon with respect to electron mobility. They have almost similar kind of electron mobility. But where is the problem? Problem is with respect to their availability. Problem is with respect to cost, and problem is also with respect to availability of manufacturing units using these kind of materials, right? So they are not inferior to silicon, they are at par with silicon. First statement is incorrect. Second, silicon is the only semiconductor to be used to manufacture microchips, whereas other materials are metals. This statement is incorrect. Had they been metals, we would have never used them in the manufacturing of microchips, which are also called as semiconductors. Fine. So these metals, these materials are also semiconductors. They are not metals. Second statement is again incorrect. Third, alternative materials tend to be more expensive and have a limited market. This is the actual reason why we continue to use silicon despite availability of other materials for the production of microchips. First two statements are incorrect. Third is a correct statement. So how many statements are correct? Only one is correct, and that's why answer is A, only one. Question number 65, answer is A. Next now, 66. In what ways the parasitic wasps can promote sustainable agriculture? Now, what is the role of parasitic wasps or insects in agriculture? These wasps, they make sure that they lay their eggs in the body of their host, and often these hosts are agricultural pests, and as a result of the laying of eggs in the body of the agricultural pest, we can make sure that the agricultural crop remains protected from the attack of these agricultural pests. And that is what is the use of these wasps. They take care of agricultural pests, and thus productivity of agriculture remains intact. First statement, they infect and feed on agricultural weeds and cause the decline in their population. Incorrect. They are not attacking, they do not attack weeds. Agricultural weeds, which are plants, are not attacked by these wasps. Rather, they attack other insects or the rodents, for example. First statement, that's why, is incorrect. Second, some parasitic wasps have a wide range of host preference, while others are highly specialized, right? So that is true, because wasps, certain wasps will be able to lay their eggs in different kind of animals, but other wasps can only lay their eggs in a certain type of animal or insect. So that fact is correct. So second statement is correct. We are supposed to find out statements which are correct. So only second is correct, and that's why answer is B, 2 only. Question number 66, answer is B. 67. Recently in India, the technical expert demonstrated quantum key distribution link for a distance of over 100 kilometers. What are the potential applications of quantum key distribution? So quantum key distribution is a method of communication. It is a futuristic method of communication where principles of quantum technology or quantum computing would be used. And to be more precise, which principle would be used? It would be quantum entanglement that allows teleportation, for which in year 2022 Nobel Prize for Physics was given, right? This is a futuristic form of communication which would make communication more secure. But despite its potential, it has certain challenges as well. Majorly, the challenge is in the form of cost, the range of communication, because as it uses a kind of optic fiber cable, there is a distance that it will be able to establish communication. It won't be able to establish communication beyond that particular distance. First statement, it can provide secure communication by allowing two parties to generate a shared secret key that can be used to encrypt and decrypt messages, right? So this statement is a correct statement. In quantum key distribution, the sender and receiver would be able to generate secret key to encrypt as well as decrypt message. First statement is correct. Second, it can be used to secure IoT, Internet of Things devices, and protect sensitive information transmitted over the network, right? So this statement is also a correct statement. In future, we would be using quantum key distribution, QKD, for IoT communication. Second is also correct. Third, there is not any loss of signal as they travel through optical fiber and follows the principle of quantum mechanics. Yes, they do follow the principle of quantum mechanics, but that does not mean there would be no loss of signal. This statement is an incorrect statement. There would be loss of signal as they would be using the optical fiber. So third statement is incorrect. First two are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statement. Answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Question number 67, answer is A. 68 now. Consider the following statements regarding the synthetic biology and its application. First of all, what do we mean by synthetic biology? Synthetic biology means designing and development of various biological forms, various biological organisms, which we would be able to use in different applications. For example, development of genetically modified crops, genetically modified organisms are synthetic biology. Let us consider these statements. First, it is being used to design and engineer synthetic ecosystems, including photosynthetic organisms and microbial communities, right? So that is possible with synthetic biology. First is correct. Second, it is increasingly leveraging machine learning and artificial intelligence to optimize the design and engineering of biological systems. Now, when we want to generate various kinds of synthetic biology products, that leads to generation of huge amount of data. That data we will have to use to develop a final output. But that data we won't be able to use as it is. We will have to analyze that data. And in the analysis of data, these days we are taking help of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Second statement is also correct. Third, it can be used to design and engineer biological systems for environmental monitoring, such as sensors for detecting pollutants, right? So that is possible. We can come up with such biomolecules, such organisms which would be able to detect the level of pollutants in a particular environment, right? So all these three statements are correct statements. We are supposed to find out how many statements are correct. All three are correct, and hence answer is C. Question number 68, answer is C. Next now, 69. Consider the following statements. First, light can be used as information carriers to process quantum information and to be used in quantum computing, right? So in quantum computing, we use quantum particles, and photons are one of the quantum particles, and we know that light is made up of photon particles only, or light is a ray of a group of photon particles only. So first statement, that's why become incorrect. Light can be used for the processing of quantum information using quantum computers. First is correct. Second, light can be used to encode both quantum and classical information, making it possible to integrate quantum computing with classical computational systems, right? So that is also a possibility. Light is used in the traditional computers, in the classical computers, and light rays can also be used in the development of quantum particles. And that's why light, as it is used in both, it allows us integration of quantum as well as classical computers. Second statement is also a correct statement. So both these statements are correct statements. We have to find out which of the statements are correct. Both are correct. Answer is C, both 1 and 2. 69, answer is C. 70th question. Which of the following statements regarding the application of graphene is incorrect? So graphene is a nanosheet material. It is a kind of sheet of carbon atoms, and this is in the form of nanomaterial. Graphene is a form of nanomaterial, and because of the graphene nanomaterial, it has properties which are different from the normal size counterpart, normal size atoms of normal size material of carbon, right? Let us consider the application which is not possible using graphene. A, it is a single layered material with high electrical conductivity but low thermal conductivity. This statement is an incorrect statement. Graphene is a good conductor of both heat as well as electricity, and that's why this application is incorrect with respect to graphene, and that is what we are supposed to find. Question number 70, answer is A, but still we'll go through options B, C and D. Option B is it can be used in energy storage systems such as batteries, supercapacitors and fuel cells, right? This statement is a correct statement because when we roll up graphene, we'll get carbon nanotubes, and those carbon nanotubes can be used for the storage of energy in fuel cells. B is correct. C, it can be used in medical devices and bio devices such as biosensors and implantable devices, right? So that is also a possibility with respect to carbon nanotubes, which in turn are developed using graphene. D, it can be used to filter impurities from water, right? So the impurities of water are of micro size, but the nano sheets are of nano size, and thus we can use them for filtering of water, right? So answer of this question is A. Only A is not possible with graphene, and that's why it is our answer. Now last question from Science and Technology. 71. Origami metamaterials which have unique and advanced mechanical properties have the potential applications in which of the following fields? Now what is origami first of all? Origami is a Japanese art of paper folding. It will give folds to paper so that we will be able to develop a kind of flexible material. Now this technique is being used for the development of certain materials, be it plastic, and thus on the basis of this origami metamaterials, we can use plastic or other materials which are developed on the basis of this origami technique to various applications. We can put them to various applications. Let us consider the statements. First, so origami metamaterials which have unique and advanced mechanical properties have the potential application in which of the following fields? So they can be used in first in aerospace engineering. So that is possible in aerospace engineering, we can use these origami metamaterials. Second, creating soft robots with folding and grasping capabilities, right? So folding and grasping capabilities are important and that can be developed on the basis of origami. Second is correct. Third, for creating flexible, lightweight and collapsible structures, right? So flexible structures is one of the important properties of origami materials. Third is correct. Fourth, for creating drug delivery systems, right? So drug delivery systems are also possible on the basis of origami metamaterials given their flexibility. Fourth is also correct. Fifth, for creating large scale flexible solar panels with high energy conversion efficiency. If it is flexible solar panels, it is possible using origami metamaterials. So all these are the potential applications of origami metamaterials, and that's why answer of this question is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 mentioned in option D. Question number 71, answer is D. So with that, we have completed our discussion of both environment and science and technology. Relatively, questions were easier compared to open mock test number 1. Now, polity discussion would be taken up by Viraj sir.
Hello friends, I hope you all doing good. All of you are doing good. So we will now look into the questions that were asked in All India mock test from the point of view of Indian polity. Okay, that we will be doing now, and what we'll also do is we will also go through the questions on. We will also go through the questions on current affairs, general current affairs. That also will be done by that discussion will also be done by me. All right, so let's move on to the questions on Indian polity. The first question that we will be discussing, is question number 1. Okay, question number 1 पे चलते हैं. So what does the question say? Question says, question is about Pitt-Sindhi Act, and basically it is with respect to all the legislations that have been passed by the British government. The question says, Pitt-Sindhi Act 1784 established the dual system of control. Yes, it did establish dual system of government. Why? Because the Pitt-Sindhi Act, what it did was it created two bodies, board of control. It created basically two bodies. First was board of control and second is court of directors. ठीक है, तो first statement is correct. Second, regulating act 1773, it permitted company to retain its territorial position in India. This act is also, this particular statement is also correct, that it did provide company with the opportunity of controlling or keeping under its possession the territorial land that a company had basically acquired. British East India Company had basically acquired. Charter Act of 1793, it granted permission for Christian missionary work. Charter Act of 1793 nahi, Charter Act of 1813 actually provided this particular power to the company, or it gave this particular work to the company ki give entries to Christian missionaries in India, or make their work easy in India, grant them access to the people in India. Charter Act of 1813, it continued the company's trade monopoly in India for 20 years. This particular statement is not correct. In fact, what happened was in 1813, company's monopoly, except for tea and sugar, were done away with. Okay, now let us come to what options are available. So it is asking how many pairs are correctly matched. So in this particular question, 2 pairs are correctly matched. Now 1 and 2. So our answer will be B, only 2. Moving on now to question number 2. In question number 2, what do we see? Consider the following statements regarding preamble of the Constitution. The main preamble was drafted by Sir K.M. Munshi. This statement is obviously not right. Main preamble was, the preamble of our Constitution was drafted by B.N. Rao. He was advisor to the Constituent Assembly. With respect to where the preamble can be located, where the history of preamble can be traced to, idea of preamble we get from US Constitution, but the preamble ka content, that is inspired by the objective resolution, that where that was put forward by Pandit Nehru. Supreme Court, okay, the concept of sovereignty in the constitution was taken from the American Constitution. This particular statement is again incorrect. This particular concept is incorrect. देखो, sovereignty as such is not mentioned in the American Constitution. ठीक है, it is not mentioned in the American Constitution. The concept of sovereignty was taken by the Irish Constitution. Third statement, Supreme Court declared preamble as part of the Constitution in Keshavananda Bharati case. This statement is correct. ठीक है, statement number 3 is correct. The first statement is wrong, second statement is wrong. They are asking us how many statements are incorrect. So mainly what we have seen is 2 statements are incorrect, so that is our answer, only 2. Chalo, moving on to question number 3. According to Supreme Court judgment in Sarvananda Sonowal case, burden of the proof of individual being a foreigner lies with the state. This particular, देखो, in this particular case ना, in this particular case, the court established that burden of the proof with respect to proving that an individual is not a foreigner lies with the individual, not with the state. So it goes in the opposite direction with respect to who shares the burden with respect to in case of being accused. तो अगर हम लोग इस केस को देखें तो what this case actually says is, if I am being accused of being a foreigner, then it is up to me to prove that I am not a foreigner. ठीक है, it is not on the state, it is not basically on the state to prove that I am a foreigner. It is upon me to establish that I am not a foreigner. ठीक है, statement 2, the first statement is incorrect. Statement 2, it is compulsory for every citizen of India to register themselves in the national population register. No, it is not compulsory. ठीक है, it is not compulsory to register in the national population register. देखो, national population register is more about residency than about citizenship. ठीक है, तो it is more with respect to registration of residence than with respect to citizens. So citizenship word है ना, that is why second statement becomes incorrect, and therefore we will mark it as incorrect, and therefore the right answer here is neither 1 nor 2, that is D. Question number 4. Question number 4. Which of the following principle does not fall under the socialist principle of directive principle of state policy? Securing just and human work for maternity, securing just and human work and maternity benefit. With respect to this, it can be said that it is socialist principle. ठीक है, it is actually based on socialist principle. Free legal aid, absolutely. Social, economic and political justice, yes, because देखो basically this we have derived from the Russian Revolution itself. Protection of SCs, STs, weaker section from exploitation, this is based on Gandhian principle. तो D जो है that basically is not based on socialist principle, and that is our answer. Consider question number 5. Consider question number 5. Consider the following statements regarding impeachment of the President of India. The resolution for impeachment of the President must be passed and signed by at least 1/4 of the total members of the House. Absolutely correct. This statement is correct. Alright. Second statement, during the investigation of the charges, the President has the right to appear and defend himself, herself. Absolutely correct. ठीक है. Impeachment resolution can be brought before any house of the parliament. Again, the statement is correct. All the 3 statements are correct. All the 3 statements are correct. ठीक है. So what we will do is we will mark C. How many statements are correct? 3. All the 3. देखो, with respect to president का impeachment ना, basically you must be knowing all the all the provisions related to it. Just remember, impeachment of president first and foremost requires absolute majority, and second is that impeachment ground, the ground on which the president can be impeached, is violation of the constitution. Other than that, important facts related to impeachment are put down in these 3 statements. All right, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let us now move on to question number 6. Consider the following statements regarding autonomous councils. Under the 6th schedule, the autonomous council was formed on the recommendation of Gopinath Bordoloi committee. Absolutely correct. ठीक है, Bordoloi committee recommended creation of autonomous councils. In fact, Gopinath Bordoloi was also the Chief Minister of Assam. Next statement, whenever there is a conflict of interest between district and councils, district councils and state legislature, the latter will prevail. Again correct. ठीक है, देखो, district councils are given some powers so that they can they can exercise autonomy, but their autonomy has to be exercised within the parameters of power given by the constitution, and constitution has clearly stated that autonomous councils are working under the state government, and in case of conflict between the two, it is the state government whose writ shall prevail. All right, आगे बढ़ते हैं, सेवेंथ क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 पे चलते हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 7, which of the following statements regarding national pension system are correct? At present, the central government contributes 14% of the salary to national pension scheme. Yes, बिल्कुल. For the states, the tax-free contribution by employer is 10%. Yes. Resident and non-resident Indians between the age group of 18 to 75, salaried and unemployed, can join this scheme. This particular age range is wrongly stated. It is not 18 to 75, it is 18 to 17. So first two statements are correct, third statement is wrong. So our answer is A. Our answer basically is A. Moving on to question number 8, which of the following, consider the following statements. At present, eligible non-resident Indians who have stayed beyond 6 months outside India are not allowed to vote. Yes. Statement 1 is correct. Non-resident Indians can nominate their proxy representatives to vote in Lok Sabha and legislative assembly election. No, proxy system is not allowed under Indian election, the whole ecosystem of Indian election. Proxy system allowed ही नहीं है. तो second statement is wrong, first statement is correct. Our answer is A, only one. Moving on to question number 9. Consider the following statements regarding Uniform Civil Code. Supreme Court called for implementation of UCC in Shahabano and Sarla Mudgal case. Absolutely right. ठीक है, this first statement though is right. Second statement, let us see. That first statement is absolutely right. No question about that. ठीक है, in fact these two cases, what they did was they started putting focus back on UCC. Otherwise UCC in a way for a very long period of time after independence was ignored. The Law Commission of India recommended implementation of UCC due to its positive impact of secular character of the state. Nahi. Law Commission has in that way not asked for implementation of UCC. Okay, because it will lead to better credentials of India as a secular country, or it will improve secular credentials of India. ठीक है, और secular values in India will be improved because of it. ऐसा कोई recommendation Law Commission has not made. Incorrect statement we have to find out. So 2 is our incorrect statement. B is our answer. Moving on to question number 10. Question number 10. Consider the following rationale. Consider the following rationale for local reservations in private sector. I think now it will be clear. Consider the following rationale for local reservation in private sector. Article 16(2) protects against discrimination in public employment but not in private sector. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. First statement is correct. Article 16 का protection is against the state, not against private employers. Article 15(1) provides protection only against the ground, place of birth and not place of residence. Again correct. ठीक है, again correct. So both the statements are basically correct. both the statements are basically correct and hence our answer here will be C 1 and 2. ठीक है, it will be C 1 and 2. चलो 11 क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. Let us go for question number 11. Consider the following statements regarding protection of women from sexual harassment. POSH Act. Definition of sexual harassment in POSH Act is based upon Vishaka guidelines given by Supreme Court in Bhanwari Devi case. बिल्कुल सही स्टेटमेंट है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज गिवन अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव एंड एग्जॉस्टिव लिस्ट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू व्हाट ऑल कंसिस्ट ऑफ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट, व्हाट ऑल शुड बी कंसिडर्ड सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट. ठीक है, इट हैज गिवन अ लिस्ट एंड दैट सेम list has been adopted by the parliament in drafting of the POSH Act. The POSH Act mandates the constitution of internal complaint committee for every organization if it has at least 20 employees. The second statement is not correct. All right, basically the POSH Act says कि the committee has to be formed if the number of employee in a particular establishment is more than at least 10 or more than 10. Third statement, the act also provides for the scope of amicable settlement at the request of the aggrieved woman. Yes, ठीक है, this can be done. So first and third statement are right. They are asking us how many statements are right. ठीक है, so all three. Answer is C, all three. 12. Question number 12. Consider the following statements regarding zero FIR. Zero FIR is filed irrespective of the jurisdiction of a police station. Yes, zero FIR is when you only know that crime has been committed, you don't know where the crime has committed. ठीक है, so zero FIR technically what it does is it causes the police to start investigation of the case, but it does not in any way fixate the case to a particular police station क्योंकि पता ही नहीं है ना where the crime has taken place. Second statement, the concept of zero FIR. The concept of zero FIR has the origin in the infamous Nirbhaya incident of 2012. Both the statements are basically correct. They are asking us incorrect statement. So our answer is neither one nor two. Chalo. Question number 13. Consider the following statements regarding governor's discretionary powers. Summoning and proroguing of legislative assembly comes under discretionary power of the governor. They come under discretionary powers of the governor. ठीक है, first statement is of course incorrect. Governor can summons or prorogue the parliament, summons or prorogue the state assembly only with the aid and advice of the chief minister and his council of ministers. बात खत्म. ठीक है, second thing with respect to governor's power, देखो governor can summons state assembly without the aid and advice of the chief minister and his council of ministers, but only under one condition, and that is the chief minister must have lost majority in the state assembly. If the chief minister loses majority in the state assembly, then governor is under no obligation to listen to his advice with respect to summoning or proroguing the state assembly. The withdrawal of governor's pressure must coincide with withdrawal of the support to the council of ministers by the assembly. Second statement is correct. ठीक है. Oh, first statement is not correct. I'm so sorry. Second statement is correct. ठीक है, तो which of the following statement is incorrect? First statement is incorrect ना, तो our answer will be A. Our answer basically will be A. Let us now move on to question number 14. Okay. Consider the following statements regarding human rights. Fundamental duties are in sync with Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Fundamental duties are in sync with Universal Declaration of Human Rights is, first statement is correct. All the 11 duties were included under Article 51A through 42nd Amendment. No. In fact, जो एजुकेशन वाला ड्यूटी है, it was added quite late. तो सारे ड्यूटीज जो है एक साथ ऐड नहीं किए गए थे. एक साथ ऐड नहीं किए गए थे. All right. So first statement is correct, second is incorrect. Correct. Oh, sorry. Correct answer is A, only one. Let us move on to question number 16. Let us move on to question number 15. Zonal councils were introduced by which of the following commissions act? Zonal Council State Reorganization Act 1956. All right. Zonal councils were established by State Reorganization Act 1956. Okay. Question number 16 को देखते हैं. Consider the following statements regarding local body elections. ठीक है. Both members and chairpersons of panchayat at all three levels has to be directly elected. No. At Zilla level and at mid panchayat level, block level, there can be indirect elections. So first statement is not correct. Second statement, election of panchayat provides for reservations of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes at all three levels. बिल्कुल सही statement है. Second statement is correct and our answer is 2 only. 16th answer is 2 only. Okay, so we are done with questions of polity. All right, we are done with questions of polity. Now what we will do is we will get into, just give me a minute. What we will do is we will get into the questions of current affairs. ठीक है. Okay, we are done with questions of polity. Now what we will do is we will get into the questions of current affairs. Chalo. Okay, so first question of current affairs is question number 91. Question number 91. Okay, question number 91. Consider the following statements regarding Nyaya Vikas portal. It aims at monitoring the implementation of centrally sponsored scheme for development of judiciary across the state. Yes, the statement is correct. It helps in empowering stakeholders with seamless access to information about funding, documentation, project monitoring and approval. Yes, this statement is also correct. It is an online monitoring system which has been developed with the technical assistance of National Remote Sensing Center of ISRO. All the three statements basically are correct and hence our answer will be C. ठीक है, the answer will be C. With respect to question number 92, with reference to Universal Postal System, consider the following statements. Universal Postal Union is specialized agency of UN. Yes, it is. It coordinates postal policies among the member nations. Absolutely it does. Any non-member country of United Nations may become a member of UPU. Yes. It is not compulsory ki only if you are member of United Nations only then you can become the member of Universal Postal Union. Okay, it is not compulsory at all. So all the statements are correct. Now hence our answer is C, all the three. Okay. Question number 93. Captagon pills was recently seen in the news. Consider the following statements in this regard. It was used at the time to treat narcolepsy, fatigue and behavioral disorder. Second statement, it was used by extremist groups to enhance their soldiers' abilities. Yes, both the statements are basically correct. Alright, both statements are basically correct. And देखो, second in a way is an explanation of why first statement is correct. Alright, second is an explanation of why basically his first statement is correct. Hence what we will do is we will say that the answer is A as both statements are correct and statement B Statement 2 gives a correct explanation of statement 1. चलो क्वेश्चन नंबर 94 पे आते हैं. Let us come to question number 94. Regarding gift tax in India, consider the following statement. In India, gift tax falls under the purview of income tax. Yes, ठीक है. Gift is considered to be an income. Gift is considered to be an income. Hence, gift tax जो है, it falls under the purview of income tax. There is no gap on gift which makes it taxable under Income Tax Act. With respect to gift tax, what we can say is around rupees 50,000. Around rupees 50,000 is the gift that can be given. All right, which is not taxable. Which is not taxable. So statement 2 basically is correct. Statement 1 is wrong. ठीक है. Statement 1 is नहीं statement 1 is right and statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is right, statement 2 is incorrect. Hence, third statement we have. Present received on the occasion of one's marriage are tax free regardless of their monetary value. This statement is correct. ठीक है. Gift received during occasions like marriage, they are tax free. So 1 is correct, 3 is correct. Our answer is 2 statements are correct. How many statements are correct? पूछा है ना, 2 statement. Hence our answer is B. Question number 95. Question number 95. Which of the following statement is not correct regarding petroleum coke or pet coke? It is called green coke or green petroleum coke. Okay. It is a carbonaceous product obtained in the oil refining process. Yes. It contains high carbon which when it releases up to 50% more carbon dioxide per unit of energy to normal coal. देखो ये statement right हो ही नहीं सकता ना, because if it is called green coke तो it should basically reduce less carbon, ठीक है, not more carbon, ठीक है. तो C statement is logically not correct and it is actually not correct. Statement 3, it is primarily used as livestock for cement companies during the process of manufacturing of clickers. D is right, C is not correct, ठीक है, C is not correct. Question number 96. Question number 96. Tapas unmanned aerial vehicle was recently in news. In this regard, consider the following statement. It is medium altitude, long endurance, unmanned aerial vehicle. बिल्कुल. It cannot operate during the night conditions. It can operate, देखो आजकल ऐसा कौन सा एयरक्राफ्ट है यार, या कौन सा ऐसा drone है which cannot operate in night. So second statement is wrong. First statement is correct. Tapas can operate in both morning time, evening time, night time, afternoon time. It can work 24 hours. So first statement is correct, second statement is incorrect. Our answer therefore is A, 1 only. With respect to Indian culture, consider the following statement. I think we are done. नहीं ठीक है. With respect to Indian culture, consider the following statements. Ambubachi Mela is often regarded as Kumbh Mela of East. The first statement is correct. It is the most important festival in Kamakya temple. Yes, Kamakya temple is located in Assam. All the 3 statements are correct. The answer is C, all the 3. Kamakya temple always is, most of the times is in news. ठीक है, तो it is not difficult to know where it is located. Question number 98 देखते हैं. Which one of the following statement is are correct regarding Sahyadri Plateau? Regarding the Sahyadri Plateau in India, the plateau is volcanic in nature and it is made of sedimentary rocks. First statement is correct. ठीक है, first statement is correct and it is volcanic in nature. How do we know it? Because of the black soil that is found on this particular plateau. The plateau is older than the Himalayan mountains. Absolutely. ठीक है, it is one of the oldest landforms actually in India. Third, Amrakoda is the highest peak in Maharashtra. No, it is basically the highest peak in Maharashtra is Kalsubai. ठीक है. So third statement is wrong. First and second are correct. Our answer therefore is A, 1 and 2 only. Coming to question number 99, consider the following questions. Consider the following statements regarding silvopasture system. Silvopasture system. It includes 3 crops with grazing pasture or fodder production. Yes. It increases the number of species of ground insects and number of species of birds compared to vocationally grazed pastures. Yes. It can reduce the footprint of livestock production by increasing carbon sequestration and reducing gaseous emission. Yes. How many statement sorry, let me go through it again. Consider the following statement regarding silvopastorial system. It includes tree crops with grazing pastures and fodder production. This particular statement, basically speaking, is not correct. This particular statement is not correct. This particular statement is actually correct. This statement is correct. Second, third, all the three statements are correct. Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking about. All the three statements are correct. The question is, how many of the statements here are incorrect? None of the statements are incorrect. Answer is D. Last question of the day, guys. See what the last question of the day is. Consider the following statements about Cincada species. Cincada are hemipeteran insects known for their loud, complex and species specific acoustic signals or song. Yes. They prune mature trees, irrigate the soil, and once they die, their bodies serve as an important source of nitrogen for growing trees. Both statements are correct and the answer is C. So guys, thank you so much for being part of this discussion. It was a pleasure to be with you. We'll meet soon. And those of you who have not registered for All India mock test of GS score, please do it. देखो All India mock test, what it will do is it will basically help you. ठीक है, All India mocks जो है, it will basically help you to know your ranking when compared to other candidates at the national level. And basically देखो, this exam is about being ahead of others. ठीक है, ये कोई ऐसा एग्जाम नहीं है कि 35% मिल गया तो यू क्लियर द एग्जाम. यू हैव टू बी अहेड ऑफ अदर्स. तो आपके लिए जरूरी है जानना कि आप कहाँ पे खड़े हैं. तो वही हम आपसे, ठीक है, एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि आप ये एग्जाम दीजिए एंड देन यू असेस योरसेल्फ. थैंक यू सो मच गाइस. चलो बाय, सी यू.